If I recall, didn't you one time in an interview say that you liked the first record better than the new one? Even though
I still
everybody
like
knows
the first record better.
when you're promoting a new record, it's your favorite thing you've ever
written.
Go
I said
out
it
and
in
buy
an
our
interview then.
record. And Val's like, first one's better.
Welcome to Church Jams Now, the podcast where three former youth group kids and current music nerds deep dive into Christian music from the 90s and 2000s. I, of course, am your co-host, Kylan Savage. With me, as always, is Mr. TJ Smith.
Kylan, you got to help me out, man. I'm in some trouble with my ex.
Oh,
it's real
no.
bad, dude.
Well,
Yep.
it used to be called Twitter, so that might help you with your... Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I just got locked out of my account.
We have beautiful producer
all.
Josh Olson here.
Hey guys, I just gotta say, thank God it's Friday. Saturday's just a day away.
Just a day away. Except we're
Wait a minute,
technically
Josh.
recording on Tuesday.
Yeah, it's Tuesday, buddy.
You guys really
Hate to
know how to
disappoint
hit
you.
them where it hurts.
There we go.
What an inconvenient truth.
There we go. Josh
just
knows how to play
playing
the
the
game. Okay, guys.
I
Enough.
think I'd rather be dead.
Perfect
here right now.
I got nothing.
All right. Well, if any of you guys heard that voice, that chump speaking is friend of the show, Valentine Hellman. Val, how you doing tonight? Welcome back.
Thanks.
Woo-hoo.
Thanks for having me back. Actually, the chump is Bret, but that's okay.
Oh, well,
Ooh.
wait, Bret actually is the chump. He muted himself. You're muted now, Bret.
We'll get to that when we get to that track.
Okay. So we have more friends. This is
We keep picking up W's, you know?
yeah, that's right. like the Infinity Stones themselves. We're slowly gathering all of the W's.
You assemble all six of us.
We have James and Bret also from the W's. Thank you guys so much for being here. How are y'all doing tonight?
Excellent. Doing excellent.
Excellent. I love
Excellent.
that. Excellent. I love this. We're so excited you guys are here. Like legitimately. I've been looking forward to this all week.
All Sunday and Monday.
I've been looking forward to after we did our fourth from the last episode, I was like, should we just have Val back on just to do Trouble with X, or should I wait like a year and a half until it's the actual anniversary? But you know what? Waiting worked out.
That's
We
right.
have more friends.
We have
Patience
more
pays off.
friends now.
Yeah.
That's right. I'm excited about it.
Okay, so James and Bret, I'm so excited to talk to y'all. Val, you're kind of old news at this point, so I'm going to focus on the
I'll
other
just mute
people.
myself.
Actually, you can leave. We'll let you know when we need you back on.
See you, Val. Bye, buddy. And he's gone.
Okay, so I will say every time we have guests on the show, we always talk about origin stories. Specifically, like what kind of music you grew up listening to and how you got involved with Christian music from the 90s and 2000s, because that's the purpose of the show. I would highly recommend, if listeners are listening to this before our fourth from the last episode, please do yourself a favor and go back and listen to that to hear Val's origin story. But I want to go to James first and then Bret, and I want to talk very briefly about your origin story. Like, what kind of music did you grow up listening to? How did you get into music?
That's a really good question. I've been thinking about this for a full, 2 days now since I opened your email with the information in it. And I think that a lot of what I grew up listening to was kind of like my mom's music. So like everything anyone says about yacht rock being easy listening, I was like car stereo all the time in my mom's car. So that was like the first stuff. And that kind of morphed into some really cool stuff like Wham and, Boy George and that kind of thing. So
Yeah,
I feel like over the years, I've always been pretty much in just like, guess like the popular music that was going on at the time, whether it be R&B or, rap or whatever the phases were, grunge, all of that. Pretty eclectic, but just kind of mainstream the whole time. I did have a little bit of Christian music in there too, though. I remember having a DC Talk tape when I was really young.
Which one?
When they were really,
Yes.
I don't remember what it was called. It was all rap though. It's like,
Probably gotta be one of the first three.
New thing.
if you said the name, I could probably agree that was it, but that's about it.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. And Brett, what about you?
Oh, I grew up in a semi-musical family. It was divided down the middle. My dad was Beach Boys. My mother was Beatles. There would be no listening to the others' music whenever I rode with either one of them. Also, you don't know if you can see in the background or not. My great uncle, he played stand-up bass with Lawrence Welk and a bunch of other jazz people. So
Wow.
I grew up practicing with him and doing some other things. And it was music was at the forefront. My mother was the worship leader at our church, and probably, that's, but if it wasn't oldies, we were listening to Christian music or worship music of the time, like late 70s, early 80s, like a lot of
Larry
Keith
Norman?
Green. Oh, a lot of Larry Norman. I got to meet Larry Norman.
Yeah.
What? Okay,
Before
well,
he's
hold on.
dead.
Okay, we have to take a brief aside. We are Larry Norman evangelists on this show because we feel like people of our generation and younger are severely lacking in their Larry Norman
Woefully
knowledge.
ignorant. Yeah.
Yes. So I need to hear the story of how you met Larry Norman.
So I was over in Norway, and I met him on an island. We were both playing in a Christian music festival, and we had both taken speedboats, not speedboats, but like little tiny fishing boats. Everybody has boats. They go fjord to fjord. And so we went out and we just sat on the beach and got to talk for a while. I mean, he was a legend, so there's like 12 other people there, but I just remember his flowing awesome hair. And I mean, he's a little older at the time, but he was fantastic. He lived up to the legend of, he was awesome. I loved him.
Good. I always wonder. So it's good to have that confirmed.
Was that while you were in the Supertones, Brett?
I technically was not in the Supertones, but I was playing with them.
Okay.
But yes, that was a Christian music festival with the Supertones.
Nice.
That's so rad. Okay, I want to talk also, Val, I know we talked about how the W's all kind of came together. The dog tooth, right? Is that dog trout of it all? But I'd like to hear some alternate perspectives on that for how you guys kind of all came together.
Oh, well, I didn't know any of these guys. I don't know, living off in a house. It was like 9 people living in a 6-bedroom house, or maybe it was, I forget. It might have been less bedrooms than that. I think at one point I was sleeping in a hallway, but the typical college experience. And I went on a Campus Crusade for Christ mission down to beautiful Santa Cruz. And that was where I met Andrew. He was on that mission as well. And he introduced me to a new genre of music, which my AM radio loving ears had not heard before. So I kind of fell in love with it and made some kind of braggadocious thing. Hadn't touched a trumpet since high school. It had been 3 years since I'd played it. Hadn't even thought about it, but I was like, yeah, if you guys start a band, give me a call. I'll play trumpet. And kind of forgot about that. And then around December of that next year, he's like, hey, we're going to have band practice. You said you'd be interested? And I was like, maybe. Let me see if I can find my horn. And then I took it out of the attic, and and that was where I met Val and James and all the rest.
Awesome. All right, James, what about you?
I think I was a pretty latecomer to the band, actually. So I went to Oregon State University and randomly got placed as a roommate with Andrew at Avery Lodge, where we all lived at a co-op. I had a saxophone with me because I used to play in middle school and stuff. And they started doing band practice, like Bret said, and I would just go and listen. And then I don't know who it was. One day somebody said, you've got a saxophone. Why don't you just pull it out and try to play with us? And the rest, I guess, is history.
It worked.
So,
you didn't suck.
right place, right time.
They liked you.
That's it.
Yeah.
Val, did you and James ever have saxophone fights? I don't know what that means, but
All
I
the
just thought
time.
I'd
They
ask.
did.
Because we both had altos. We both played alto at first, and so it was just constant battles. Right, James?
You can imagine
Constant
My
sax battles.
register. Yeah.
Two
James
altos and a
kicked my
trumpet.
ass
Feel
so
the
many
treble.
times.
Sorry, Val.
The only battle James and I
Sounds
had
scary.
was did we have over who's cuter, and James always won. So
Oh, Val, I think
nice.
you're cute.
Yeah, you're both
Well,
pretty.
For what it's
thanks.
worth. You're welcome, buddy.
I was the fifth cutest in the band, tied with Bret for fifth and sixth.
That's pretty good, man.
Out of 6 people, we were tied for fifth and sixth.
I mean,
Hey,
I
you
mean,
know what?
you're not wrong.
You still placed. You still
that's what's
placed, man.
important, You know?
yeah.
Okay, so I want to get into pretty quickly. I want to get into this album. I'm so excited to talk about it, and I want to hear from all three of you about your headspace individually, like going into this album. You know, it being like your second album and where you guys were. But I want to give you some time to kind of marinate on that. And so while you're thinking about that, I want to go on to my favorite part of the show, which is Research Corner with beautiful producer Josh. It's my favorite part of the show because he's going to give us some context about the record. And I love doing it when people that made the record are on the show, because if he gets anything wrong, I need you to instantly just like buzz in, tell him how wrong he is, and correct him, scold him if you can. It just makes this all worth it for me.
Yep.
So
Yeah, this part of the show is called Trouble with Josh.
Oh,
We want to find
That's
some
it.
trouble with Josh.
yeah. All right. So Josh, what you got?
all right. Well, we already did a little bit more backstory from Val, like we talked about on the Force from the last episode. But I do want to go through. I have the booklet here for the Trouble with X on
course
CD,
you do.
and
Look
of
at
course,
that.
I just want to go through because the presentation of all the individual members. So on the first record, we had nicknames for all the members. That's continued here, and y'all have like continued to play it up. So we have the W's, but they're known as W's for the West Coast Squadron, and it is starring different members. So first, I'll try to I don't know if I can do pictures, but I'll just read them to you. So first, we have Andrew Little A. Shar as General Haas on guitar and vocals. Next, we have Bret the Cougar Barker as wacky, kooky pilot guy who played the trumpet. And Bret, you had a very interesting note that you said, thanks to anyone who has supported my email addiction. And I thought that was an interesting thing to include in the liner notes.
How
was
are
the
you
late
doing
90s.
with that?
So
by the
this
way?
was late 90s. We were on AOL, and we would sometimes, even local phone calls would charge us, and we would dial up, and we all had the phone cords, and it was great. And I would lose sleep just to return people's emails. It was,
Wow.
I don't do that anymore.
Yeah, I was gonna say, has
good.
that gotten any better with
Yeah,
the
yeah.
advent of new technologies?
I'm so
I
glad
gave
you got help.
Jesus a long time ago.
That's great.
So good. All right. And next we have Todd the Rod Gruner as Monkey Wrench. Todd went from Rod W on the first record to the Rod this time. This is an interesting one. So we have Valentine Hellman as Major Damage on tenor sax and clarinet. But no
Nice.
nickname, Val? What's up? Not even Valentino?
Major Damage was my.
Yeah, but
Major
everyone else has
Damage.
a
there's no
nickname.
nickname in there.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's no nickname, man.
Aaron James hated me, so. Aaron James was the art director.
Oh, it's funny. That's why you have a very serious picture of you looking off.
Exactly.
Major
yeah.
Damage is
But
troubled
in
with
the
the
little
troubles
tiny
of the world.
picture is Heather and I.
Yeah,
so.
it's very cute. It's like you're coming home from war. It's
Aw.
perfect. I did want to acknowledge,
it.
though, that your first acknowledgement in your thank you notes is to your mom-in-law's big fat cat.
A cat was 44 pounds.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah, that's fair.
It deserved the acknowledgement.
No, it
Yeah.
does. It does. To this
It was
day.
huge. It was the biggest cat I've ever seen in my life.
Val, did you not write a song about this cat?
No, I wrote a song about my sister's big fat cat. But
Okay.
different
Oh, well,
that
hold
didn't
on.
make either album. so-
Spiritual siblings, maybe.
Yeah, it
They
was
were
called El
related
Gato
in-
es muy gordo.
Ooh.
That cat is larger than my child at this point.
It was a big fucking cat, man. It was huge.
That's wild.
Oh, goodness.
And it was big too. It wasn't just fat. It was big.
All right, Val, we're gonna have you back for a Patreon exclusive episode
on
just
cat
talking
songs
about
that
this
you've
cat.
written.
And the song.
Yep.
I want to hear the lyrics.
Oh yeah, of course. Of course. All right, so next we have James Yabo Carter as Colonel Corporal, which very nice. Great name, great name.
That's awesome.
You stuck with the
I
same
love
nickname
that.
from the first record, plain alto sax to add. And then we have Brian Killer Morris as Innocent Bystander number 2. On drums,
Ooh,
he
very
went from
nice.
Nigel on the first record to Killer Morris on the second record.
It's quite
So
a
fitting.
I love that. I love,
Yeah.
man, the 90s had such great CD packages with all that stuff. Just good times, good times.
I couldn't remember. They asked me last time, why did we call Brian Nigel?
Spinal Tap, right?
Oh, okay.
Was it a
Okay.
Spinal Tap reference? Okay.
Wasn't
That's
that
great.
the first drummer and they had 9 drummers? I mean, it all makes sense when you think about how many drummers we had. And
That works.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
That checks out.
Okay, so we're here
Nice.
to talk about the album Trouble with X, which was released on October 19th of 1999. This is for its 25th anniversary, so we're 2 for 2 on W's 25th anniversaries. Rounded out. Perfect. This is, of course, y'all's second LP on 5 Minute Walk Records. It was produced by Masaki and the W's. Last time, I didn't find any Billboard performance, but Val corrected me. Did y'all have any on this one that you know of charting on Billboard?
Oh, no.
I couldn't find any. No? Okay. All right. And then the last thing is that it's 14 songs at 39 minutes and 51 seconds. And that wraps up my research.
All right, guys, what did he get wrong?
Nothing.
Nothing.
I can
No.
I can add a Wikipedia tidbit that I just
Oh.
found that's probably not based in anything factual because I feel like if it was, Josh would have mentioned it.
Okay.
Because
All right, what you got?
But-
Maybe.
two things actually. So I would love to hear y'all weigh in on this. Let me know. It says in November, Trouble with X was released, peaking at number 21 and number 25 on Billboard Heat Seekers and Top Contemporary Christian charts, respectively. So I don't know if that sounds
When-
right or feels
When the
right.
first album came out and it did hit the Billboard charts, I bought the Billboard magazines and I still have them, but I didn't buy anything for the second one. So if it charted, I didn't know about it.
You
I
didn't
feel
hear
like they didn't tell us. I don't
Or
know.
they
maybe
didn't
tell
publish
us
the Heat
that.
Seekers.
Aaron James hated me.
Well, I also want to know if you can debunk or confirm something else that I just saw on Wikipedia. Did you guys play for Pope John Paul II?
Not literally.
Well,
But
we
at the same
played.
event.
We played on the. We played as he drove by, but he didn't drive by. We just played on the street.
Okay.
In St. Louis.
Because on Wikipedia it says they played at Pope John Paul II's visit to St. Louis in January.
I guess
That's
that
true.
kind of, yeah.
Technically true.
Yes. Yeah.
No, it's
I
actually
love that.
it's actually pretty cool. We stayed in the same hotel with all like the CIA and FBI agents, so it was
Oh,
just
wow.
us and a
Awesome.
bunch of
That
like dudes in
is
suits. It was
awesome.
crazy. It
Oh
was
my
also
God.
the same hotel room that our drummer Brian, also known as Nigel, decided that he was going to trash the hotel room for the first time in his life.
Sure. Yeah.
It's
Big
a
mistake.
classic rock and roll rite of passage.
It was a
Yeah,
very
well-
Christian trashing
Look,
of a hotel room, though. I think he like tipped over a lamp, or like he set the
Yeah.
lamp down gently on its side.
Slightly askew.
Take
Like,
that.
look,
very
the
proud.
mattress is slightly off.
He was very
That's it.
proud
What y'all don't know, is Pope John Paul was actually the inciter for this decision. He was the one behind it. He was like,
Yeah.
"We're going to create some anarchy here, and no one will ever know." That it was
If I
me."
recall correctly, I believe he also left his father's laptop in the room under the
Oh,
mess,
yeah.
and he had to call back and get it mailed
Oh,
to
that's
him on the
right.
road.
That's
It
right.
was an experimental HP laptop that was extremely small for those. No joke. His dad was an engineer at HP, and yeah, it was a big problem for him.
Wow.
His parents weren't very
Oh,
happy
Oh
at
my
that time.
gosh.
Oh no.
Had
Oh,
to
they
walk
weren't.
back the trashing.
Youngsters.
This is so much fun. I'm already having so much
See,
fun.
I'm so glad I asked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so back to my previous question. So we're talking about Trouble with X. I want to know before we begin our part B, what was going on with y'all going in to record these songs? Like, how soon was this after your first record? Like, what was the writing process like? What were you guys expecting going into this?
So they put us on tour with DC Talk, and they said, "Hey, this is perfect. You guys will have all day, every day to write songs for your second album. You should have an album by the time you're done with this tour. It should be no problem at all because you have
Tons
just
of
all
time.
day long to write songs."
I mean, we were sharing a bus with Jennifer Knapp. We had tons of personal space.
So you guys like pretty immediately after that first record just were touring like pretty constantly, right?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
okay, so I'm so curious, like for being the kind of band that you guys are, like, and specifically with like horns and stuff, like how did you guys find time and space to like make any of this stuff, to like write on the road? Did
Well,
you,
I
or
mean-
then did you just kind of bullshit it? And then
There's a reason.
So
Dennis
Go ahead,
Culp helped
Bret.
out a little bit.
so I
We have some
found
credits, yep.
our pre-production CD from after the tour was done. We had 13 songs going into pre-production, and I think 3 or 4 of those didn't even make the album. So we like Andrew ended up writing more songs. Todd wrote a song. But
You wrote.
yeah. I had 2 songs on the pre-production, but only one of them made it onto the album. And I had concepts of a song that everyone was just like, meh, no. So I never even put it on pre-production.
so
Fair
like
loss.
like practically on that tour, like how did that work? Like did you utilize like sound check as a time to like work stuff out? Did you just
We'd just be in the dressing room, and Andrew would just kind of write, and we'd all sit
Did he
around him and be
play some
like,
stuff?
yeah, that sounds good.
Did you just
and,
play like your horn parts like brr, 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 with your
I mean,
hands?
a little bit, yeah.
Don't
Little
forget about
bit.
that time we were supposed to be writing, and Frank sent us to Washington, D.C. or to Baltimore to play. And we ended up staying, and he's like, hey, this church is going to let you write in their, like, you can go to this church and you can write. And we went into the church and we set up like on the main stage, I don't know, like with the worship drum kit behind the glass. And like,
yeah?
we were doing that. And like everybody would come up and talk to us. It was awesome. We're like trying to have like, songs. But one of the cool things that happened when we were doing that was a guy who worked for the Secret Service went to the church, and he came up and he was like, hey, so what are you guys doing tomorrow morning early? And we're like, I don't know, sleeping. And he's like, you guys want to have a private tour of the White House? And we're like, yes, I do. And so then he's like, okay, this is what you're going to do.
What?
You're going to get in your van and you're going to drive to the very front of the White House, and you're going to pull up onto the lawn. I'm going to tell them to be expecting you. So we took our rental van and drove up onto the lawn of the White House and got out and then walked inside. And every single one of us set off the metal detector walking in. And this guy's like, oh, they're fine. That guy's fine. He's okay. And then they just like waved us all through and then gave us a private tour of the White House. So
He
that's
took us
how
to the
writing
kitchen
in
for some
Washington,
reason.
DC.
I'm going to say that's 95% true from what I recall.
Yeah. I mean, we definitely all set off the alarms.
And he's like telling the other guys, okay, they're gonna be pulling up in this like this sketchy rental van, but it's okay, it's fine, guys.
It's
Trust
cool,
me.
it's cool.
This
Yeah.
was pre 9/11.
Yeah.
They got the W.
There was security
that,
was
that did
not,
not
a
need to
thing.
be said.
It was
that-
99, 98. I don't know what it was, but
I honestly, I would watch a movie about that Secret Service agent
Yeah.
going
too.
to church one day and seeing a band and being like,
Trying to
"You guys
write
want
songs,
to
probably arguing with each other.
and then trying to justify letting y'all into the White House, like that feels like an ABC made for TV movie from the mid 2000s. Like I would,
Yep.
that would be my favorite movie. I think of
we
myself.
weren't the first band that he had do that because
true.
he was letting us take pictures in the Rose Garden right outside the Oval Office, and he's like, no, don't let these show up online because another band did that, and then we kind of got in trouble.
What was the other band?
Yeah, which band?
I don't know.
Did he
Pax
say?
217.
I don't know. I thought it was Stage Saker.
I don't know who it was. I don't remember who it was. I don't know if he said who it was, but he just said another band. Yeah,
It
someone
was
else.
you two.
You two. Yeah.
Probably. Bono just couldn't help his email addiction. He had to leak. all the all the photos.
Show the Bono leaks,
It's a
man.
real thing.
Oh,
We
man,
know,
it's
we know.
crazy.
Before we get off of that topic, though, I do want to ask if there are any because you toured with DC Talk on was it their final tour or
Yeah.
one of their
No,
close
was
to
it?
final
Yeah, it was,
ones?
wasn't it? Close to
Also-
final.
So I
Yeah.
just want to
I
know,
think so, yeah.
that's a pretty big thing in the CCM world.
Yeah,
or is there
that's
any
huge.
interesting, fun DC Talk interactions or just stories from that tour in general?
We played with them. The horn players, we got to play with DC Talk. And we would go up there, and whenever we'd have a sound check or something, I'd be like, "Hey guys, I know Carmen's whole rap to A to J. Can we add it into this playlist set list tonight? Please, please. I just want to be Carmen for one night rapping." And they never let me.
Travesty.
Man,
Such a bummer, Brett.
that'd have been so good too.
I'm sorry.
I think one of the most memorable stories from that tour was the last show for me. That was probably like one of the whatever. I mean, the bus tour, right? So it was kind of like the biggest commercial tour that we had ever done or would ever do, probably. And they all joked about how the last show you're supposed to pull pranks on each other. And I had no idea if that was really a thing or not. But as the first opener, we learned really quick that it was a thing, very much a thing. And half of their band and some crazy people that like did the riggings and stuff came on stage and started playing The Devil Is Bad, the very first song before we could even play anything else. Which was like, that's the last song you play.
awesome.
That's the one you make the
That's a
name for,
trump
right?
card, man. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're all studio
Crazy.
musicians, so it wasn't very difficult for them to play it.
But Toby Mac was singing it, so
But he was eating like a
Oh,
bowl of
wow.
cereal at the time too.
Yeah.
just
Well,
spilling
then
it all
Toby
over
Mac
the stage. It
wasn't the best singer in that band. So
That's true.
That's
Right.
true.
That part could have been better.
and they took Andrew's vocals in the monitors and they added like a chipmunk effect to it or something in the monitors only, so Andrew couldn't tell what he was singing at one point.
It was a disaster.
Oh my gosh. That's hilarious, man.
Okay, before we get into the album, is there anything else specific? TJ, are you stretching or raising your hand?
Stretching. Just
Oh, okay.
stretching. Just
Cool.
getting ready.
All
I'm
right.
stoked.
Is there anything else we want to talk about?
I really feel like I need to tell everybody that I beat Rebecca St. James at Connect 4 in 4
Oh
chips.
yeah. You beat her like
Backstage
bad a
one
bunch
time.
of times.
But that was the very first time. 4 chips. That's basically
yeah.
impossible if you know how to play Connect 4.
But you
I
just
did
kept
it.
beating her too.
Well, they don't have Connect 4 in Australia, so you're kind of taking
Apparently they
advantage of her. Yeah.
I think they know how to count to 4 though.
I don't know. They didn't get a counting
It's the
system
accent.
until the mid 2000s, from what I've heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
After the
been a
TV.
running bit on our show that Australia doesn't get things until
Yeah,
way
this makes
later.
no
so.
sense to y'all, but to us, it
But-
does.
To the listeners,
I get it.
Very obscure in joke.
Yeah.
okay. Before we get into the album, so last time Val was on, we played a game. So I figured we could play a game this time called Trouble with X, where we're going to each defend all of Elon Musk's political positions, one by one, and whoever gives the most salient point wins. If
I don't
guys
wanna
are
play
okay
that
with
game.
well, too bad. No, I don't have a game this time. So I think we're just going to dive right into the album.
Cybertrucks. That's my defense.
Well, that's
And I know it's an automatic L in the chat, guys.
Yeah.
I'm aware.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. Well,
I'm
it's
finished.
Excuse me, gentlemen. I'm pulling out my big black book because we have an ad.
Yes, we do.
Oh.
And when we have an ad to record, that's where we look.
When we need an ad to find, that's where we look. So we moved to the C's, quick, fast, in a hurry.
Oh,
Throw on our specs. We thought our vision was blurry. We looked again, but to our dismay, it was black and white with no room for gray. You see, the word Collide Records
land it.
And the plane.
was there. I can't do it. It's a plane crash.
Oh, no.
I thought I had it. Collide Records.
I thought I was going to witness something amazing.
I know. Collide is a verb. Hey,
Oh,
There it is.
Sure,
You
thanks,
did it.
guys. That felt a little patronizing, but thank you.
No, I'm fully on board with that. I liked it a lot.
That was some real quick thinking. That was not rehearsed at all, listeners. I just want you to know. This was completely
Yeah.
on
Oh my
the
god!
fly.
If people have
So-
listened to our ads like up to this point and think that any of this is rehearsed, that would just be supernatural.
Oh,
Mm,
yes, it would be.
that's true.
They're like, these guys definitely need an intermission to get their
Yeah,
thoughts together.
yeah. No. We plan this all out
Mhm.
in our mind's eyes.
No, that's so good. That's so good. Well, let's go back to the verb that you mentioned, Kylan. Collide Records is our sponsor today. And, we're down with the DC Talk. And if you guys are down with the DC Talk, and if you're also down with DC Talk on some vinyl wax, Collide Records is the place to go. They've got Supernatural on vinyl, Jesus Freak, Welcome to the Freak Show, and Intermission, the Greatest Hits in double LP.
Oh, they have
as well.
intermission on
They got
vinyl.
intermission too. It's
I'd
orange
be
too,
into that.
which looks
That's
pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty rad.
Yeah.
Nice.
So if you need some DC Talk vinyl, head on over to Collide Records.
And pay full price, right?
Pay full price, right? Yeah. That's what you're supposed to do, right?
Wait, soap on a rope, cause it ain't worth hope. That's the only. Hold on. I got this. Marmalade jelly. No, okay, I don't have it. This is someone. Please
You're so
save
close.
me.
You're so close. So close.
I got nothing. I can't think of another DC Talk song. It's the end of the world as we know it.
An original of theirs. Well, if you want to purchase some records and you don't want any red letters on your credit card statement,
There we go.
There it
you
is.
can use our promo code
That's why we keep you around.
Church Jams now.
Yeah, you can use those fingers.
Use those
Type in that
fingers.
promo code.
And how much do you get off if you use that promo code?
20%.
So help me God, you will get 20% off
That's it.
if you type in the promo code ChurchJamsNow at checkout for any DC Talk or anything else they have in their inventory.
That's true. That's true.
Sorry guys, I've been in my own head. I was like, oh my God, what if I stumble through this ad?
Yeah.
And then I just did it,
And they have a good amount of colored wax in their store.
Nope, we're cutting that.
Oh, come on.
No. I mean, we're fully keeping it. We're also keeping the part where I say to cut it.
Yep. Like we do. We'll fix it in post, it's like we always do.
Yeah, we'll fix it in post. So once again, if you go to colliderecords.com, use your fingers and type in the promo code ChurchJams now at checkout, you will get 20% off your entire purchase. We love iTunes reviews. Whether they're good, whether they're bad, it doesn't matter. We love talking about it because I guarantee you every time someone sends in a new iTunes review, Josh will screenshot it and send it to our group chat. And if it's great, we will give it all the heart emojis. Be like, this is
Yeah.
incredible. And if it's bad, we'll talk about it the rest of the day. But
I
either
usually ignore
way,
it.
it's well, I'll think about it the rest of the day. But
yeah.
we love it. We appreciate people being honest in their reviews, right? Whether you think we deserve
Yes.
1 star or 5 stars,
Do we have a new one to share?
we do have a new iTunes review to share. Thank you,
Can
TJ,
we
for
hear
keeping
it?
me on track. So we're going to hand it over to beautiful producer Josh to read our newest iTunes review.
Our newest one. And like you mentioned, Kylan, whether it's 5-star or 2 stars, we'll read it. But this one, I'm happy to say, is a glowing 5-star review.
Woo. It's not just regular, it's glowing.
Yeah. And the name is Jake's Zeski.
Jake Ziski.
Like
yeah.
Suzuki?
Yeah, Suzuki. Maybe that. But the title of it is Pure Nostalgic Bliss. Jake Suzuki writes, I'm so happy a podcast like this exists. I love the trip down memory lane that each episode brings me and how I'm reminded of so much good, in parentheses, or bad music from my childhood Christian community. Props to y'all and thank you for doing this. Thanks, Jake
Wow,
Suzuki.
thanks to Ziski.
Jake Suzuki, however you pronounce your name.
Thank you, Jake.
Thank you so much. And if you want to be shouted out in a similarly clumsy manner, leave us a review on iTunes.
We'll apologize now for your name pronunciation, but thank you for your review.
Yes, that
Ahead
was
of time.
awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that
That's
was really
why we
great.
do the show.
Thank you, Jake. We're excited that you're listening. We appreciate it, man.
Let's start with track number 1, guys. Rather Be Dead.
What seals what you get, and baby, you need nothing yet. When all's done, when all is said, without you, girl, I'd rather be dead.
One time on tour, a mom came up to me with our CD. I was asking me which songs were Christian and which ones weren't. And I was like, I don't know what you want me to say. We don't say Jesus in these songs. She's like, and what is this Rather Be Dead? That's horrible. That's just horrible. I want my money back.
Was that my mom, Val?
You should have been like,
It probably
hey,
was
I think it-
to
I
live
think it
is
was,
Christ,
yeah.
to die is gain. Rather be dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
That's funny.
That's all I can think about when I hear this song.
I have nightmares about these horn lines sometimes still.
Wait, why?
Were y'all? Yeah.
Yeah, why?
Why,
Well,
James?
it took me a long time to record horns. I think,
Well, it took
Something
all
that
of
was-
us a long time.
We recorded together.
but that's because we recorded together.
You did on the
Like-
first record too, right?
Yes.
No,
yeah.
I think the second one we split them up though. I felt much better about the second one.
No, we recorded
Really?
a lot of it together still, but I mean, it
I owe
wasn't
you
just
both
you.
a
Like
big
one of
apology.
us would make a mistake, and it would just be like, again, and we'd have to go over it again, and yeah.
Saki was very good and very patient.
I do want to talk about specifically the process of recording the horns on this record, because to me, like, the horns are the MVP of this
Yeah,
record.
they are.
There's something, and I'm not. I
And we're
swear,
all
I'm
here.
Not, I swear, I'm not just pandering to you guys. I'm not just blowing smoke
Butter
up
in
your
your
ass.
biscuits.
My biggest takeaway on this whole album is like the way that the horns were recorded just feels so live. Like there's a
Yeah,
lot of
explosive.
there's a lot of like really nice like room tone with all of the
yeah.
all of the
It
horns.
feels
Like
really
it feels
Would you like to get into the engineering?
Yes, please.
So we each had
Yeah.
a individual microphone, and then we also had 2 overheads, and they were the same overheads that a lot of people use for drums and other stuff. So that was getting some room stuff. And then we had, I believe,
Mhm.
at least two room mics, but I think only one of them ended up getting used, or one of them sounded the best and better than the other one.
Mhm.
But we had a lot of microphones pointed at us. So, and they were all, you could tell when there was a squeak or an out of tune note, or if I dropped out, or like, you could definitely hear when the trumpet would mess up, and
Nothing to hide behind,
Yeah.
right? When there's that many mics in the room.
Yeah,
Isn't this
yeah.
the one too where Bret, you started having to like strip at some point, like every time you made a mistake or something? I mean, I got a picture here somewhere. I know I
I
have
don't know
a
if he
picture.
had to or if he chose to.
Did that
I think he
discourage
chose
him from
to.
messing up or encourage him?
It might be behind the platinum record.
yeah. No, definitely. I believe I was getting a little worked up, and I think we were all a little bit stressed. So sometimes, in order to cut the mood, you have to lose some clothing.
I love it.
I get that. I
great
do that with this
tactic.
podcast all the time.
Hey, you've already taken your
Why
It's
jacket
not a
off.
video podcast if anyone's curious.
Yeah.
I got married like weeks before we started recording this, and my wife went to Africa on a mission trip. And so I was driving an hour to the studio from where I lived, recording horns all day for like 12, 15 hours, and then driving home at night. And I was just depressed and sad. So I'd go and record horns, and I'd just be like, I got to do this for 15 hours. When are we going to be done?
That's rough.
I mean,
Just missing your wife.
that is a long time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's a long day.
I'm curious why, because you said you recorded horns all together on the first record too. And I think when we had Leonore on, I think she said the only record they did that with Masaki was Electric Boogaloo, I think. Because I guess
Yeah.
all the other ones they did individually.
so.
So I'm curious, why did he like throw y'all and be like, we're going to do them all together. But at 5 Iron, I only do it the one album.
I think it was torture.
Cruel and unusual
Aaron James
punishment.
hated us.
Something there.
Poor Aaron James. I'm sorry, Aaron.
I do think it sounds
JK,
better
JK.
recording as a section, but
For sure.
it's we I don't know. I know I grew and we grew, and our musicianship got better because of it. But
And I think it's a sound that lends itself to this kind of music too. Like, the ska bands, it's not necessarily, they're not looking for a live horn sound like an old, an old timey jazz bandy kind of thing. So, but this music, it was just like, it was perfect for it. So,
Yeah.
So we shot ourselves in the foot with that.
Mm-hmm.
Were any of the horn lines like double tracked, or was it all just?
There is one trumpet line that has 6 trumpets on it, and I've got a good story when that one comes up.
Okay,
And I would come back and
Nice.
overdub clarinet. And Dennis didn't record with us. Dennis, when he added trombone, he came back and did it separately from us. So any of the tracks with Dennis trombone or me clarinet, that's all overdub. But
I'm pretty sure that they either got somebody else to come in and redo my parts or cut them out most of the time. So I didn't
that would not have
to worry
been
about
possible the way we
Yeah,
recorded
how?
this.
No, it's impossible because they would have
Yeah.
had to replace
this.
everything.
Like, don't
James,
worry,
you were-
that mic in front of you. That don't worry. You don't have to get so close. It's fine.
James, you were good enough to play them all and make it onto the record. So give yourself that credit.
I say this as a guy whose entire parts were replaced by a producer. I can almost guarantee that you were good enough to be on
I
this
think you
record.
were safe on this one. Yeah, it would have been hard to do all of it.
You're good enough.
We would not have been in there
Hard
12
enough.
hours doing it over and over again just to have you replaced later.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
We're not 5 iron.
Shots fired.
Where was this song in the sort of like sequence of recording this album? Was this like pretty early on? Was it towards the end? Was it in the middle? Where was it? Do you guys know? Do you guys remember?
I do not remember that information.
That's fine.
I do not
I do
recall.
not recall.
Cool. All right,
Did it
cut
feel
this all
at
out.
all?
I'm not sure if this one was on the pre-production CD either that I had. Might have been.
Did it feel like a strong song to lead the record with for any reason while y'all were recording it? Do you remember that at all? Where it was like, oh, this could be a great opening track. Was there
When
conversation?
I've been listening back to it the past few days, I thought it was a great opening track. Of all the songs,
Yeah.
I thought it was probably best to open it. But
Yeah, comes out with a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Totally. It feels.
I think
that
it's one
way.
of the
It
better
feels very
songs
much.
on the album. So
Mhm. I mean, and the sentiment in it is really sweet. Like it's a nice, like, kind of just clear cut love song. And that mom that talked to you, Val, she just wanted some true love in her life. And
I
she
tried to
didn't get
explain
it.
to her that it was
you
about,
know.
the lead singer talking about how he loved his wife and he didn't want to be
Right.
without her and stuff. And she was just like, I'm not having this,
I will say, if I ever in 1,000 years end up making a horror movie, I 100% want this song to be the opening track. I don't know why, and
That would be
I
great.
can't, but it feels like
I can see it.
like right, like it makes
Yeah.
sense.
Feels like
It-
death.
No. It weirdly like the weird, almost like there's this like big thing in the 90s. We've talked about this on a couple episodes of like this, this sort of like almost like David Lynch, like 90s versus 50s, like juxtaposition of like, oh, let's take all this 50s stuff and then like fuck with it a little bit.
Right.
And I felt a little bit of that, honestly, throughout a lot of this record that I like really enjoy. It's very Lynchian. And I think that's
This is
probably
the
just-
first time I've ever
Yeah.
heard that, and I appreciate it so much.
Okay,
Leave it to
good.
Kylan.
Good. I'm glad.
to make that connection.
Yeah. No, it feels like, because you guys are doing this sort of like, very like big band 50s throwback thing, but through this like 90s, a little more cynical lens.
Mhm.
I got a lot of that through this record and I loved it.
I'm buying it. Don't cut that.
Keep it.
we probably were a bit more cynical on this record too.
I think so. I think
Sure.
compared to the last record, yeah, there's a little bit more cynicism just sort of imbued throughout the entire record. Okay, should we move on to track number 2?
What is it?
Well, I wish it was Saturday, but it is in fact track number 2, Saturday.
Only Tuesday.
Thank God it's Friday. Saturday's just day away. Cause got a hold on till day is gone. Everything will be okay. Thank God it's Friday. Saturday's just day away. Cause got a hold on till day is gone. Everything will be okay.
Keeping the energy up.
Mm-hmm.
Another
I
really
feel like there's a lot more.
upbeat track.
Yeah, there's a lot more like riffs on this record. I feel like than the last
Yeah,
record.
true.
Because Andrew was just kind of playing a lot more rhythm stuff on the first record, but now he's got more like upfront parts. I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he definitely got a lot better as being a guitar player, and that shows on this. So.
I think we all got better at our instruments, and that shows on this record.
I think so.
Technically,
Mm-hmm.
we play technically better.
Right.
Val, I was holding back.
I don't love all the songs anymore, but I'm sorry, Josh.
if I recall, didn't you one time in an interview say that you liked the first record better than the new one? Even though
I still
everybody
like the
knows
first record better.
when you're promoting a new record, it's your favorite thing you've ever
Oh,
written.
I
Go
said
out
it
and
in
buy
interview
our
then.
record. And Val's like, first one's better.
Brett, Val's just an artist and he wants to be authentic.
no,
okay?
I'm an
So-
asshole, is what I am, and that sounds
You're
like something I would
authentically-
say. That
In a
sounds like
way, you're
something I
still
would have
authentic.
said.
Yeah.
And I gained so much more respect for Val after he said that out loud.
So this song, I like this song, but there's this horn part in it that happens 2 times that doesn't feel like a horn line that should happen again in my mind. I can't remember. I think it's the part coming up. Yeah, this one, we already did this whole thing once, and I don't know. I like stuff that's like hooky and catchy and poppy, and this felt more artsy and...
It could be like a one and done segment. Like just
I got to do
in
a
there
cool
once.
trumpet shake on it. How dare you take number 2, the
Yeah,
second
but
part
we
away from
we had to do it 2 times. Like, it's not like we cut and paste stuff. Like, we had to play that whole thing 2 fucking times, and it wasn't easy.
Right.
Can't just fly it over.
that we couldn't do that. We were recording on to ADAT. Well, I guess he pulled it into Pro Tools.
I like
after
the
that.
irony of like the sentiment of the song is like, I can't wait until whatever the hell of this day is over. Like, and here y'all are recording it feeling like, oh God, I can't wait to get out of the studio. This is the worst thing ever.
Guys resonated with that.
Welcome
I
to our
felt so
gym.
much relief when the horns were done. I was just able to sit back and like, enjoy the recording process after that.
Were y'all
Totally.
the last thing before vocals got done?
Oh, no. It went drums, bass, guitar, and then us, and then Andrew would do vocals.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
And who was like what was the writing process like for the horn lines? I would love to hear about that.
I think Andrew had a lot of the ideas for the horn lines, and then he would sit
Okay.
there and he'd be like, okay, now play this. And you'd go da 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 da, and we'd play it, and he'd be like, that didn't sound right. Do it again. And then and then eventually I was like, just figure it out on guitar and come back to us. And so he did
Yeah.
that, and that made it a lot easier.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So he was sort of the composer, but on guitar, essentially.
We also
Well,
had
that-
some
yeah.
help from Masaki and Dennis.
And yeah. Some of the
Good,
stuff is
good.
written by Masaki, and some of it, Dennis. Dennis did a lot of arranging of parts. If I remember
he came
right.
up with a few too.
Yeah, I don't even remember
Nice.
why he got brought on to help write on the record. It's just like, oh, Dennis is going to help you write on this record, and I was like, okay.
Okay.
Oh, it was the faith of Frank Tate having us,
You guys need
Yeah,
some
these
help
kids,
here.
these kids do not know what they're doing.
and we didn't.
Bunch-
I know
We
that I'm going to
didn't. No,
mix
we
up
didn't.
all the memories in my head here about what was going on at the time, but I kind of feel like we didn't have a whole lot of horn lines when we showed up at the studio. And they were
No.
like, we got to do something.
that
to
that
kinda
pre-production CD I've got
Develop it from
is not
scratch.
great. There's like, one song, the clarinet song, which I think ended up becoming Nothing. It was the title of it. Like Andrew and I had the whole clarinet part written down and figured out, and that was on like the pre-production
Oh, that's
CD.
cool.
And then when I listened back, we're gonna get to it, so I don't need to talk about it.
Yeah, but
I'll
no,
talk
that's
about it
that's
later.
interesting because as I was listening through to this one, I was really noticing the unifying aspect of the horn parts and how they really feel locked in. They really feel, like you said, Val, like technically just really proficient. You guys were crushing it. I'm sure it, a lot of hours went into that, but I want to say like it was a blast to hear all of that, and it was really interesting to kind of think like, were the lyrics first? Was the phrasing, the melodic phrasing of the vocals first, or did the horn parts like inform how he decided to sing? But if it was like if a lot of those ideas were his own, then it makes sense that he would be able to match his vocal melody to the horn parts.
Yeah.
But
honestly, until James talked about how hard it was to record it, when I was listening back to this, I just thought it sounded good, and I thought, yeah, we did a good job, and I had forgotten about how awful I felt.
It's
doing
almost
it.
like childbirth, right? Where they say that
just
after a
block it
while
out.
you forget how hard it is. And
Yeah,
you remember
yeah.
the beautiful moments.
Yeah.
I have like so many more memories about recording in the first album though, for some reason.
Yeah.
Just
Oh,
like the second
interesting.
album was like torture, but the first one it was like so.
The first
like,
album,
we're
we had
doing
been
something
playing all
new.
those songs forever.
Yeah.
And we knew all the horn lines, and we had them all down. This one, we go into the studio, and it's like we're writing the horn lines in the
Blank
studio. And
canvas.
they're like, hey, play
Yeah.
this super complicated horn line that's way more complex than anything you had on your first album.
Right.
And we were
Ready,
like,
go. No
okay.
pressure.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
Being written by people.
Masaki
being
would be
written by
like, go
Masaki and
upstairs
Andrew.
and get in the closet and don't come out for 2 or 3 hours until you're ready to go into the studio recording room. That's all. That's where I
Yeah.
spent a lot of my time.
Like
That's
saxophone
wild.
timeout.
Yeah.
James is not wrong.
Saxophone timeout is my new favorite.
We all
phrase.
had to do that.
So good.
I was
It
up
was
there
the
with the
woodshed.
clarinet
We
a
got
lot.
we had to go to the woodshed to practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then would each of you guys do that like individually and then come back together to
We would practice as a section sometimes, and then we would have like individual parts where it would be like, oh, like if there was a high run that was, had to have some feel to it, I knew I was going to mess that up the most. So I'd have to go like do runs over and over and over again. One time is upstairs practice rooms. I don't remember. Wasn't there a band like Link 80 or something that was practicing upstairs, or one of those East Coast or
One of those
East Bay
bands.
Yeah. I forget which one. But anyway, I went up there and I think I was trying to be very healthy. And so I was running and eating a lot of salads and too much
were.
yogurt maybe. And I remember there was a really high note, and I could hit the note, but I couldn't really hit it in tune, and I couldn't hit it very consistently. So I was like, all right, I have to go upstairs. I have to do some range work, and I got to go up to like scales, and like, I need to just go upstairs and practice and blow as hard as I can. And I went upstairs and I practiced and I hit the note. But, whenever there's a lot of pressure, sometimes there's a lot of equal pressure going the opposite direction.
Well, I was going to say, also the yogurt didn't help. I mean,
I had to walk down those stairs like the underwear were dead, but I was trying to save the pants.
Like
I'd forgotten
I
about
could
that
see-
too until now.
Conceptually, the yogurt's a good idea until you have to hit those high notes, man. And then, yeah. I mean, it's like Newton's law, right? Like
Every reaction, there's an equal
every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that story, I will never live down that story. Masaki made me tell that to his children.
Tell him the story,
And you were
Brad,
there a
about the
couple
one
months ago?
time you were recording.
Hey, Brett, tell them about the time you pooped yourself.
Oh yeah.
They'll love it.
They loved it.
Well, I'm going to share this. I'm
well,
going to
thank
share
you
this
for
with
sharing
my
that
daughter
publicly
afterwards.
on our
Yeah,
podcast. Now everyone knows.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're not cutting that.
The miracle of shame. It has eluded me.
Well, my daughter right now is obsessed with poops and toots, so she will totally get a kick out of that story.
Everybody
It's the
poops.
gift that keeps on giving, Brett.
Yeah.
This story is bringing joy
Oh my
to
god!
all kinds of
Some
children
new
everywhere.
generation.
See,
Brett was running a lot then, and one time we were at Cornerstone, and he decided he was going to run back from Cornerstone to the hotels.
Oh my!
However, I don't know how far away it was.
Like
That's
16,
crazy.
17 miles.
Yeah,
and he's just
and
like,
it's at the end of the day.
Why?
he comes into the
What-
hotel room, and he's just like dead in his eyes. I'm like, Brett, are you okay? And he just goes into the bathroom and starts drinking water forever. And he comes out and collapses on the bed and falls asleep. And the next day, we're like, what happened? And he's like, I was drinking water out of puddles on the ground along the way. And I don't know why I decided to do that.
It seemed like a good idea at the time.
Oh,
Hot,
my
humid.
God.
Yeah, that was
Better than
Illinois.
dehydration, I guess. I don't know.
Oh.
But at least you got to see the beautiful scenery of Bushnell,
Bushnell,
Illinois.
All the corn.
Like, cool.
the
I'm glad-
fireflies were gorgeous.
There you go. There's a silver
That was
lining.
you hallucinating.
Kylan,
Dehydration.
You're being such a bully right now,
Oh,
man.
well,
I
hey.
wish you would just go home.
I will. Let's move on to track number 3. Bully, go home.
Bully, go home. You got a reason to be near us now. I know you feel the need to create a scene, but the fact is you're not wanted here. Really don't care if you think that you're cool now. You're not. You know you can't just go and push them around. Beat them up and then throw them down. So take final look, take
I do have a question because, like, Saturday and Bully Go Home really feel like of a piece.
Yeah, they feel related.
I don't know that they were related.
Yeah?
I don't
Like,
think
was that
Andrew didn't
something
have a
like-
lot of lyrics for this one. And I remember I was helping him write lyrics on this. And I think he knew he wanted to be Bully Go Home. And I was saying how we should write it about like the Nazi punks back in Salem that would beat up kids at the shows, like I told you about last time.
Yeah,
And so there was like,
Mhm,
I was trying to get him to put in a line like goose stepping like it's 1942. But
Oh,
he didn't
that's
like
so
that
good.
one.
Oh,
He
but
didn't like
that's
that
so
one.
good.
Oh,
So
that's a
so
great
good.
line.
didn't make the song, but yeah.
Oh man,
It
maybe it
didn't,
was too
it
edgy.
didn't work the way he wanted it to. Like he was very specific. He had like these vocal lines in his head, and he knew what he wanted the the tones to be and the like the consonants and the vowel. He
Right.
knew what that stuff he wanted to be. He just couldn't find the words right away, and so you'd be helping him write the lyrics, and he'd be like, "That's not the way I want it to sound." And you're
Right.
like, "Okay,
Okay.
I guess I'm done. I've given you all I can."
Yeah, you
James, you
started
helped
the
with lyrics.
lawnmower, Val.
James wrote
And
with
then
him a
you just
lot,
walk
so
away.
I mean, did you have that experience, James, or?
I've mainly helped, I think, on the first album, and
Oh.
everything just flowed so much faster. I mean, we'd stay up to like 4 a.m. writing, and it was just like ping pong,
Whoa,
and it was done. You know, so
nice. It's cool to know that the bully could hypothetically be based on like a weird Nazi punk from Salem.
I always thought it was exactly that. I mean,
It
I
was,
didn't-
yeah. Yeah.
It was that
It's more
one show. I
universal
mean, that
this
was
way.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I told them that story last time.
Oh, you see? Okay.
Yeah. They know the story. Should you tell it again?
Yes, please. Please, let's tell it again.
You
Let's
might
do
as
it.
well.
Come
Brett,
on,
tell it
come
this
on.
time.
Oh,
Night of fear.
I am an unreliable narrator.
Val. Well, yeah,
Perfect.
no, we've already
Those are the best
established that.
kind.
We
Yeah, I already
know
told
that.
it once, so now it's like Brett and James's turn to tell the story.
Also, Brett, we're known for mangling facts, so you're in good company here.
Yeah, for sure.
It's fine.
Yeah,
So
I got a
the
bone to pick
year
with you
was
after this, TJ.
1897.
Yeah.
See, every time
we
I tell it,
open up.
I always say the wrong band because remember we were opening up for a band and I wanted to say it was 10-foot pole, but it was not 10-foot pole. Which band
The
was
Ready
it?
Men.
Ready Man.
No,
Lando
it was somebody
opened,
else.
and then we played. And
It
then
wasn't the
Men.
Ready Men.
I got
Yeah, it
the
was.
poster in my
No,
garage.
it was some 41.
I've got the poster in my garage.
It was Blink
Oddfellows
182.
Yep. And
at
the
the
year was
opening
Des
for
19.
Moines,
Taylor
the
Swift.
Lions Hall in Kaiser Salem, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, that was
please.
crazy.
Let's,
do we not want Brett to
let's
tell the
continue the story. No.
Regale us, Brett. What happened?
Val
Do you
should
remember
tell
the story, Brett?
No, I don't. I do remember it, but I mean, I
Oh.
remember it in bits and pieces. I
A bunch
remember
of
it as
skinheads
like,
showed up, and I mean, I had been to other shows in Salem and seen this happen, where the skinheads would show up and like find someone to try and beat up and start fights, and so they were there and they were trying to kind of start stuff, but no one was really going for it. And then we're in the middle of our set. Brian breaks a stick, throws it into the crowd, and I don't know if it hit the girl or if she took it and jabbed it into her face or whatever, but one of the Nazi girls like got bloodied up by the stick and came to the front to like try and fight us. But instead they like just picked on two small girls that were there and started kicking the shit out of them. And it was horrible. Like, they had to pull the girls into this side room and stuff. And when we were done, they were like, you guys got to come into this side room and hide because the Nazis are up back and they want to fight you. We're like, what?
Right.
And like,
That was all happening during your set, right?
Yeah. But yeah, and
Which is
after our set,
crazy.
they pulled us into this side room and they're like, stay in here with these girls. They want to fight you. They're out back. And we're like, they're out back. But don't worry, we called the cops and also the Ready Men are out there and they want to fight them. So the Ready Men were like
Easy.
a lot of like
We're
Mexican
ready.
Americans. And they were like, yeah, we hate skinheads. We'll fight you. And so they were in the back, I guess, having a standoff is the way we heard about it. But
I mean, this
Well, we
literally
did.
is the plot of Green Room, the horror movie.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah, this is
it
Green Room.
literally is set in the Pacific Northwest, and a bunch of skinheads start a fight. Like, you guys,
At like a DIY punk venue.
that happened a lot in Salem, especially in the 90s.
Yeah.
Wild.
Crazy, man.
Yeah.
Very crazy.
Bully, go home.
Bully, go home.
For sure. I do like that this one has some swagger, and this one feels the most like fourth from the last so far for me. It kind of has that vibe.
Yeah.
True.
It has that burlesque part.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And, Heather was wondering if Josh was going to like that part or not, since he doesn't like circus.
He doesn't like circus stuff. I was curious about that as well. That is in my notes.
It's kind of circus adjacent.
I did like this one because I feel like I picture y'all like in a nightclub wearing suits playing this song. So I'm like, I dig this one, you know? It has that
It's
vibe
classy
to it.
enough.
Yeah.
I got this memory, and I don't know if this is true, but I think when we were playing the burlesque part, we would like kick back and forth. The horns would.
We were a chorus line.
I believe it.
Yeah, like we did like
Very
a
nice.
kick, dun, dun, da, 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 da. I think we did
Yeah.
that.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I mean, we did a lot
Feels
of
about
stuff,
right. I'm
so-
about to do it right now, actually. Yep,
It's all coming back to you.
exactly what
Show
happened.
us, James.
The muscle memory is taking over. Sorry.
Yeah,
Beautiful. That's awesome. Yeah, it's a 1-2-3 punch. I think like Rather Be Dead, Saturday, Bully Go Home. Like it's very all of it's high energy. It's very fun. Like that kind of classic big band swing stuff. But I wanted to say that at a certain point things take a turn for me, at least as far as like what I understood the W's to be up till now. I mean, what better time than to introduce a cover into the mix to talk about that?
I think I know the inspiration was when Bret was running back from Cornerstone. He's like, man, I've just been on all these
Yeah.
country
Running down those
roads.
country roads.
Country roads.
So let's move on to the next track, Country Roads.
Country road, take me home to the place where I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home, that country road.
Okay, I have hopefully what I think is a fun story about
First
this.
thing-
Go ahead, Josh.
That's the Home Improvement riff, right? The bam, 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 bam,
Oh
bam,
my-
bam, bam.
Is that what
Wait,
Saki
run it
stole
back.
it from?
Run it back. Run it back.
That's the Home
Yeah,
Improvement
Saki
riff.
stole that
Say
from
it
Home
again.
Improvement.
Maybe.
Right?
Right?
It is.
What's the statute of limitations on?
Oh my gosh,
I mean,
that's incredible.
we're good.
Josh. Thank
Don't
you
worry.
so much.
Yeah, no, you.
James
We
is
were
like
supposed to be
recovered.
on a John Denver tribute album.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that why
And
this
so that's why we
exists?
recorded this song.
That's
like
right.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
in the middle of DC Talk, or was it before DC Talk? Like
It was
we
in the
went and
middle
recorded this
because
in some
remember we
studio
were supposed to
somewhere.
use DC Talk sound check to practice this.
This and Rumor Weed. Fucking Rumor Weed.
Wow.
So hard.
Both those songs, they sprung them on us in the middle of DC Talk, and they're like, yeah. And so Saki wrote all the stuff for it. It's like, here, this is what you're gonna play, and we just kind of did it.
Wow. That's crazy. Well, I love that this version of this song exists. I just have to say it. Like,
Me too.
and that's what I
Same.
was alluding to earlier is I love that this is the W's going rockabilly by way of a country folk artist.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Well,
the
okay.
best. It's the last
Okay.
thing I expected, but it's exactly what I wanted.
And
I
Andrew
didn't know.
doesn't use
And I'm
this
so
one to
happy.
play banjo on. He plays banjo on some other songs, but he doesn't
Yeah.
on this song.
So, can I tell you my experience of hearing this for the first time? So, I started my listen of this record, and I get to I'm like scanning through the track list, and then I get to this song, and I'm like, "Country Roads." Oh, that's really funny. Like it would be really funny if this was a cover of "Country Roads" by John Denver.
Yep.
But like, I mean, that's not what this is, right? Like this, and that'll be like a really funny juxtaposition. And then the song starts, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is definitely like this is such a different song. And then the lyrics come in, and I'm like, oh
Nope.
fuck, this is Country Roads by John Denver. This is kind of incredible. And then I have to tell all three of you guys. So Val knows I have a 3-year-old daughter who listens to a lot of the music I listen to for this show. And she's pretty picky about the stuff that she engages with. she made sure we all stood up and danced to this entire song. So this does have the Willow June badge of approval.
Kids loved us.
What, dude, this song is so good. And
We take that. We will take that.
It even got my wife's seal of approval because of the ending. And she said more songs should end with like halftime gang vocals. Like,
Yeah. The fake heavy swaying 6/8 with the gang vocals.
Good. It's so good.
It's awesome.
One time we
love
pulled
it.
all of our moms on stage to sing this with us
Oh, that's
for the last part of it.
Way.
That's the best.
Yeah,
I
it was
love that.
awesome.
I also just played it with my band last night. So
Nice.
this song is
you go.
still a stone cold cover.
Right.
Did you play this
option.
version?
Ska or not, you know.
I wish, God, if I only had a horn
Right.
section for it. Wow.
Right. But this
Incredible.
does what, I often talk about on this show. Like, this does what a good cover is supposed to do,
Yep.
where it's not just a, it's not just a re-recording of the original, because the original
Yeah.
exists
A
and
one.
it's so fucking good. But you put your own life into it. Like, so much so, like I said, like when the intro started, I had no idea that it was this song. And
Yeah,
it
it's a real
very
bait and
much
switch.
felt like a W's song. Like, you
Yes.
guys just like owned it.
You put your
And
fingerprints all
exactly.
over it.
Well,
was great.
Masaki's fingerprints, but
Masaki put his fingerprints. Yeah.
Masaki put his
All
fingerprints on
over
it,
yeah.
but it's good.
And then he said, "Here, y'all press down into the ink pad."
It's good.
It's good though.
No, but it's
good
great.
cover.
Yeah.
Yep.
The execution.
So
was pristine.
what ended up happening from you guys were supposed to do a John Denver tribute
Compilation.
That tribute album never came out.
Nobody knows.
Oh.
Yeah. We recorded the song prior to recording anything else for Trouble with X.
Yep.
So, I mean,
Mm.
and listening back to knowing that in my head and listening back to the album, it's like this sounds like it, to me, sounds like it was recorded differently. Because we were in like a studio in Nashville or something that they rented or something for us, I think.
Oh wow.
Maybe I'm thinking of Rumor Weed. I don't know. But
1A of Rumor Weed, I think, was Nashville.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I feel like we recorded this separately from all the Trouble with X tracks. Do you guys remember that? Or am I just off?
I think you're right. It was the first one because we knew about it ahead of time, and then I don't know if we came back during a break or something like that, and then just they threw us in there and said go. But I have zero remembrance of any like practicing any of these lines outside of a studio, which is a really expensive practice space, just so you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
Val, I've killed a lot of brain cells in my life. I don't remember this at all.
Okay.
Well,
Oh man.
it's a good cover.
Mm-hmm.
Good job,
Thanks.
guys.
I agree. I wish I remember playing it.
Well, we didn't mean to hit you where it hurts, James. We're sorry.
There it is.
Nice, look at
Let's
that.
move on to track number 5. Hit 'em where it hurts.
Well, I found a way to whip those suckers where it hurts, and I know it's gonna hurt for a while. They don't play by my terms, so I'm gonna sit back and watch them squirm, cause I made the call, now they'll take the fall, and by golly, gonna get them good.
Banjo.
More banjo again. Yep.
Banjo.
Okay, it's so interesting to me, like the sequencing of this album is because like this feels like it conceptually should go right after Bully Go Home.
Yep.
Then they like the cover was in there and it's great, but like this really feels like the next step.
Agreed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like how much say did you guys have in terms of the sequencing of this album?
I don't remember because I never like even tried to participate in that. So I don't remember.
Right. You just did the songs.
I just recorded the songs and
Yeah. He had a 13-hour day, Kylan. He
I mean,
wasn't
well,
here to
yeah, that's
talk
true.
about sequencing after that.
I don't think I even like cared about that at that point in my life. Like
Right.
sequencing wasn't even anything I
Yeah.
thought about on
Right.
albums.
Right.
So, you know.
You're going to be surprised whenever it came
Unfortunately.
out to be like, oh, this is where this song is.
That's
now.
true.
Yeah.
It is kind of
Yeah.
a nice treat.
Oh, this whistle.
The whistle
Yeah.
is so good.
This is not
Who's
us.
whistling?
No.
Who's whistling?
Somebody's dad?
Kelly's
I don't know.
dad.
Kelly's dad, Richard
we would do
Howard.
this song.
Kelly's
We would
dad.
do this song and we would all like whistle like gang whistling and it sounded awesome. And then somebody decided it would sound better if it was one guy whistling really well instead of us all whistling crappily.
Okay.
And
You know what?
I stand by our crappy whistling still.
Yeah.
I think it would have been better.
I agree.
But
Okay.
We can't weigh in because we don't know.
Yeah, it does
Sorry,
sound really good.
Val.
if you'd seen us live, you'd know.
That's a good point.
I like the transition from the sort of like you guys were playing with the kind of burlesque thing on Bully Go Home, and then this starts to get into like a lot of like New Orleans
Yes.
kind of sound on the
Yep.
and
Yeah, my clarinet's a lot more prominent on
Yeah.
this.
Yes.
this feels
Really helps.
real
Yeah.
New Orleans to
I
me.
have to say, I was feeling pretty cocky about my musical ability until Val pulled his clarinet out. And he kicked my ass
I've been
up and
playing
down
that
the
since I
field.
was 11. So, I mean, yeah, that was my main instrument forever.
Oh, I started at 10. Even worse. Rub it in.
Oh
Brett,
no!
I just love that you were showed up by a clarinet of all instruments. That's
the
the
licorice
best.
stick took me down.
I found that pre-production CD at my mom's house this weekend, and I was listening to this, and this is one of the first songs on it. And our horns, we are not together at all. It is so crappy on that pre-production version. I need to do that
some real work.
for you guys to listen to it. Yeah, we need to do a lot of work. I was
I'm
just
good.
listening to it, and I was like, "What is this? What is this album that I found?" And on the CD, it says Bret and Val's Old Guys CD or something for the Insignificant Ugly W's or something like that. It's written on it in Sharpie.
Oh my god!
I immediately sent
They
a
weren't
picture
wrong.
to Bret.
That's incredible.
We have talked to quite a few musicians on this show at this point. What I really appreciate about having the three of y'all on is I feel like y'all have the same kind of perspective that at least I have. I feel like maybe TJ and Josh have this a little bit too, where you're a little more self-deprecating. Like it's not like because so many other people we've talked to were like, oh yeah, this song just like it was so important that I got this out. And you guys are like, I don't fucking know, man. Like we fucking sucked, but like we tried. And I'm like, that legitimately from like a musician's perspective is so relatable.
It's
Of, like-
refreshing.
Yeah. Like we had this idea. I think we kind of did
kinda
it.
got
Yeah, it took a lot of fucking work. Also, we kind of sucked. Like
We worked
I don't
hard.
know,
We worked hard, and we
Yeah.
sounded technically proficient for it.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
No,
and
I
whether
love
or
live
not the
shows.
music is good or not is, I think, inconsequential to Kylan's point. It's all
Right.
about the perspective and like the attitude that you're bringing to bear in the conversation. Just not thinking that you're hot's not, but
Yeah, exactly.
understanding that
Exactly.
like you're all in it, we're all in it together. We're gonna do our best here, and like I don't know, maybe one of those takes was good.
I think that was
of
kind
the
of the
17.
theme of the W's over our whole
Yeah,
career.
no,
was
that's
just
what
like-
that's what I love about you guys.
We were all
Like,
very
yeah, it's
silly
so
and
good.
goofy and self-depreciating a lot. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I said that to a lot of kids at different shows. I'm just like, man, it really pays off if you work hard. Anybody can do this stuff. It just takes the hours.
Right.
I'm like, hey, I felt like we were kind of like a true garage band in a weird sense. Like we just played in our house. There was chords everywhere. I mean, it was just insane. And you put the hours in, and it happens sometimes. But it was
Yeah,
a different
and
time
somehow
too.
it works.
Yeah.
Internet was baby. So
Well, I gotta say, I love that he found a way to work in the phrase "by golly" into a song in a way that feels entirely and unquestionably appropriate somehow. I don't think we've covered a song on this podcast in our 100 some odd episodes that has included "by golly."
The closest
correct?
is Larry Norman saying "Wowie zowie."
Wowie
Wowie zowie, yeah,
true.
that's up there.
He did say that.
But y'all got "by golly" and he nailed it. I don't know, I love it. It's great.
yeah.
He's gonna watch them squirm,
when Kylan was talking about how this album is a little bit more cynical, I immediately thought of this song, and I was like, do y'all know if
Yeah.
this song is written about a specific person and who that person
there's a
is?
lot of people that come up to us and be like, you guys aren't really as good as as good as everyone else says you are, and you guys suck, and it's not fair that you guys are where you're at and stuff, and I'm just going to tear you down. And it was about those kind of people
This is
that
kind
thought
of a
we didn't
response to
deserve
that.
Yeah, we didn't deserve our success because we didn't work as hard as they did. So,
Wow. I like it. Nice little revenge track.
I don't know if it's about anybody specific because it happened a lot. So
That general
Sure.
person doing that. Well,
Especially from
hey.
other bands.
yeah, other bands did it. One time though, I was at the merch table with Heather. This is like later in our career, and this kid waits in line in the merch line forever to come up, and he just comes up, looks at the shirts, then looks at me and just goes, "Sell out," and then turns around and walks away.
He waited to say that.
That happened like
He's
10
really
times
like-
a day for sure.
Yeah.
Oh my
It's like-
gosh.
There were
Wow.
some people that just hated us.
Oh, to be young and have that much time on your hands and energy to devote to something like
I don't have that much time for anything anymore. Yeah.
Hits you where it hurts.
That's
It does.
It really does. All right. Well, you can get mad that you guys got some success, but sometimes you just got to play the game to get to the top. And
Right.
maybe that's what y'all did. Play the game.
That's right.
That was a rough one.
Track number 6. Play the game.
Whoa, shut 'em down, take out the main control, play the game. Play the game. Play the game. Play the game. Play the game.
Gosh, that was so stupid.
It was.
I was listening to
was.
this in the
Sorry,
car
I'm
and this
waiting.
came
Yeah,
on,
yeah.
and I was like, "Didn't we hear this already?" And Heather's like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm like, "Isn't this Bully Go Home again?"
No, it's got a radio filter, Val. It's different.
I know. I thought it was the same song though.
It's like kind of Pink Panther-y. I like that.
It is, yeah.
Very.
You know, this song is about
Very
playing
good
video
song.
games.
Is it about playing GoldenEye? That was my guess.
There was a lot of
Ooh, I
that
can
getting
see
played at the
that.
5 Iron Frenzy house.
Okay.
I don't remember if we played it as much.
Yeah.
But what you guys bought a
I believe
Nintendo 64? James and Andrew did, and we're playing it on the back of the bus on DC Talk.
Yeah.
You and Brian and Andrew, I think. Were you playing GoldenEye? Was that one of them?
No, we played NFL Blitz like till our fingers
Okay.
bled.
Oh, Blitz.
Blitz.
I miss Blitz. That was
Took
a
that,
fun one.
saved up their stipend money, didn't buy any food for 3 days, and went out and bought a Nintendo 64.
We parked in the tour bus in the Walmart parking lot, and I walked into Walmart and walked out with it, hooked it up to the TV in the back lounge, and that was the last
Yes.
anyone saw of us for
Yep.
days.
James who?
Is that door locked? Don't go back there. It smells weird.
Oh, that was another thing. Bret got in trouble on DC Talk for not showering, and Jennifer Knapp went to the tour manager and said, "You've got to make that guy shower. He smells horrible."
It was for a good cause, Val. It was for
What was the cause?
Yeah.
so when we took this, when we got talked into taking this tour, they were like, "Okay, you don't have to price match." And you can like, it was everything. There's a lot of restrictions. And I was like, I don't want to pay. It sounds ridiculous now, but like, I don't want to charge $25 for a t-shirt. That's dumb. Anyway, we show up and they're like, you have too many items. You have all these things. You can't do this. You have to price match. And you guys only get one table, like in the whole stadium. And you guys have, it's back here in the back. And we have to keep you guys under $1 a head because otherwise you're stealing money from DC Talk. And I disagreed with that vehemently. And so since
I
I
think we all
had
did.
to deal with the people that were doing that to us, I thought, well, if they're doing that to us, then they're going to have to smell me. And I'm going to go up and I'm going to be very huggy, and I am going to run and get in very good shape, and I'm going to sweat in my workout clothes, and I'm going to leave a wet
17
Bret
miles
print
from the last venue.
right on them, and I'm going to be so happy to see them. They'll never know what I'm doing.
This
They'll never
is
see it coming.
The most creative, like, and unusual torture I've ever heard of in my life, Bret.
Which
You know, when
totally
you're
makes sense.
young, sometimes you have great, brilliant ideas, and sometimes you don't.
Yeah, I mean, depending
yeah,
on
the tour
which
manager-
side of the smell you're on.
Yeah. Hey, I was not happy about it. It was the injustice. It was for the kids. I wanted to sell the kids t-shirts at a reasonable price.
Yep.
I respect that, Bret.
Yeah.
Good job,
yeah.
man.
No, and then I got the what was the name of the tour manager?
So Denny was the tour manager, but
Denny.
the guy you're talking about.
No, I'm
was
talking
like
about
the
Denny.
merch
Denny
guy.
Keatsman.
Okay.
Denny Keatsman. So Denny Keatsman came out and he gave me a talking to. He said, Bret, America is the land of choices. Here, you're free to do whatever you want. And he opened up the bunk, like the bays to the bus, and he like, you know, anyway, smoke came out and it was hot underneath there. And he's like, you can choose to not shower and then you can sleep down here, or you can choose to shower and you can sleep on the bus with the rest of your bandmates like a normal red-blooded American. And I was like,
We
this is
have
not
to-
It was
selling me on it.
brilliant.
And then I was like, how can I get around this? I was like, he's like, you have to. Anyway, I became friends with him later, and he was cracking up to the whole time. He was giving me this whole blown out speech. And he's like, you have to shower every day. And I was like, I will shower every day. But he didn't tell me when or for how long. So every night at 11:59 p.m., I showered until 12:01 a.m. And then I was good for 48 hours.
Oh my god. Okay. So
Genius.
James and
47
Val,
hours and 58 minutes.
I need to hear your perspectives on this.
No, that's what happened. That's what
no,
happened.
I'm
But
sure
did
that's
Bret
what
smell?
happened.
Oh,
But how did you feel about it?
Yeah. Was it worth
I was a-
fighting the injustice?
I was a 24-year-old guy. I didn't care about smells.
I was locked in the back lounge playing video games,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I didn't
Playing
even see
James
Blitz.
had no idea what
Yeah,
was
you
going on.
didn't
I wanted
care.
to fight the
I was
injustice
tilting against
too.
windmills.
Frank and I had a meeting with Toby Mac to talk about what they had said we could do with merch, and then what once we got on tour, what they then said we could do after that too. So, and Toby Mac was like, "Well, when we were coming up and we had to do all this stuff," and then he thinks about it, he's like, "That doesn't mean it's right though." And so, like we came to like some kind of compromise. Frank, myself, and Toby Mac. So
They didn't let
love
Stinky
it.
come to that discussion.
no,
You're
no.
too huggy.
I think we were able to give away. We were able to give away those take time to listen comps with all of our stuff for free, and so it didn't, so it made us feel a little bit better. We weren't ripping kids off, charging them $25 for a T-shirt. But
Sure.
Way to be.
I wanted to say I love that the radio filter on this song comes back at the end of the toward
Oh,
the end of
yeah.
the song.
Oh yeah.
I
Until,
thought that
like,
was
the
a
last
cool
second.
choice. Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
I was
Because,
like
like-
Zaki's choice.
Good
I don't know,
production.
man. It feels
Yeah.
stupid
Yeah.
to me.
Oh,
I disagree.
You bully.
Disagree.
I don't know, man. It feels stupid. Let's move on to the next track. Stupid.
Stupid, that was stupid. No, you can't say that was smart. Stupid, sometimes we're stupid. Our brains must be falling apart. Here's one guy got
Back to that.
I really
New
love my
Orleans
clarinet
jazz.
on this song.
Yeah.
Yeah, That's
This
pretty
was a
great.
Dennis song, wasn't it?
It is.
Yeah, Dennis wrote this song.
Oh,
Which I was like, is it a little coincidental that he named the dog Fifi, which is spelled Fifi on the song that he wrote?
I don't know.
Not a coincidence,
Well
Dennis.
done.
But
That's good, Josh.
Yep.
That's why
That's
he's the
good.
beautiful producer.
so
Right.
back when the W's were first going, we had this apartment. I didn't live there, but a bunch of them did, and they had this cat named Stupid.
Oh no!
And so when Dennis first brought us the song, we were like, "Is this song about our cat? What?" And then we heard the lyrics, and we're like, "Oh no, it's not about our cat.
Oh
No,
no,
it's
it's
not.
not. It's not about the cat.
No."
It's about microwaving a poodle. It's
And
so
bombing
silly
abortion
but
clinics.
brutally graphic. I don't know how it's both, but it's both. It's crazy.
If we had
to
written
me.
this song with these lyrics, we wouldn't have been allowed to put it on the album. But because Dennis
Oh.
wrote it, it was okay.
Had he written it for like a 5-iron record, and they were like, "Dennis, we don't want this on here."
don't know.
But then he's like, "I,
I don't
can
know
put
why
this on the
it-
W's record."
I don't know why it came to us, but we were like, "Yeah, we like it. We'll do it."
I could hear Reese singing this for sure.
Yes, I definitely could.
I like
Yeah.
it because it feels really subversive. Because I mean, you just get caught up in the whole once again, this is also like very New Orleans. Like we're all just like having a party on Bourbon Street. And
Yep.
then you're like, oh,
And then the third
wait.
verse hits.
It's like,
Yeah.
oh fuck, this is like real intense.
This horn section right
Yep.
here, we actually all recorded together, like with Dennis too.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
I think I remember that we were
Very
all in there
cool.
together for that. Is that right? Just for that part of the song. The rest of it we recorded separately because I was doing clarinet. I didn't play tenor sax on this one at all. So
I do not recall.
okay,
I know we played together with Dennis at least once. This would likely
He
be
probably,
the one track.
he probably made the point for it to be on his song.
Right.
I don't know that he wanted to sit and wait for us to get tracks right to be able to leave. He was a very accomplished musician.
Well, I was curious. Just for the record, this is my second favorite song about bombing abortion clinics.
Oh.
Wait, well,
What's your favorite?
wait, hold on,
Whoa,
hold on,
what?
hold on.
We get the
Yeah,
silver
That
medal.
was
Yeah, I'll give you a
a
silver
loaded
medal.
statement, Josh.
It is.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, what's your first?
I blew up the clinic real good by Steve Taylor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh right. Okay.
Is that a real song?
It's a real song
about blowing up
from
abortion clinics?
1986 or 7, I think. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It is.
That's
Real-
wild.
Yeah.
It's
That's not my main
We lost
point.
to
That
Steve Taylor.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. It's a really good song. No, Dennis lost. Dennis lost. To
Oh,
Steve
yeah,
Taylor.
you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
Dennis
it's not you
lost.
guys. But I did. I know you talked about this earlier, Val. But I was like, this is the only song on the record that like deals with Christianity, and it's like really brief. So I was like, was that like intentional? Like, just like, and you only had 2 songs on the last record that did touch on that. So I didn't know if that was
We
like
just wrote what we wrote, and it wasn't really. I don't think there was ever anything intentional. There's one song on this that's kind of about religious content, or about faith and spirituality, at least. I don't remember if it's the next song or not.
It was Saturday.
Yeah,
definitely.
Saturday is heaven. Thank God it's Friday.
the song
Almost
"Tip
there.
from Me."
Yeah.
I think the lyrics are about spirituality and stuff and faith.
That sounds like a great transition to
It doesn't really say Jesus in
tip
it.
from me. Does anyone have anything on stupid they want to say to add?
Just
Brett doesn't
pour one
even
out for that
remember
poodle,
it, so
man.
yeah. Pour one out.
Hey,
for
Josh, before we start, here's a little tip from me as the guy that usually leads the show.
You empowered me last time, and I'm just running with it.
Well, I think we should maybe move on to the next track.
Oh, okay. I'll write
Good
that
tip.
down. That's a really good idea.
I can see the silhouette of summer. I can see the sun crashing through. I can feel the rain, but no rain no more. Please stay, this gift from me. Stay, this gift from me.
This is my favorite track on the record. And I remember doing this song live. It was fucking awesome.
Yeah, Val, this is my second favorite on the record.
I just
It's
loved
a-
playing
it's a
it. It
contender.
was fun.
Yeah,
It's more
I agree.
like that ska punk kind of.
Yeah, but there's
vein.
a lot of like Latin influence in this. Like it feels real like maybe the kind of minor stuff.
Because of the acoustic guitar too.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Which
yeah.
live
Yeah,
it was
true.
just all electric. So
Right.
Mm-hmm. I just love the breakdown chorus. I think that's why it feels like that classic ska punk thing, because it has the up tempo like verses and jams, and then it goes
Yeah.
into the breakdown chorus. I love the lyrics, like the sun, the silhouette of summer, the sun, the rain, like those kind of natural elements really jumped out to me and made it a really catchy chorus for a lot of reasons. Dig
like
it.
Andrew wrote this song, like all of it in the studio. Like we didn't have this
Nice.
going in, and I'm pretty sure he wrote everything on it. And I don't know why, but I've got this CD of this, and for this song, we were calling this song M16 ass.
Was the horn line? The horn line sounded like you were shooting an M16 sometimes.
Yeah.
it's like so
So-
fast and like
That's what we called it forever before we called it
Nice.
"Tip from Me."
That's awesome.
I had a lot of fun playing this. We closed almost every show once this album was done with this song,
Yeah.
and it was a real
Yeah.
crowd pleaser. And I can say that this is the closest I ever got to doing like a one take in the studio. This horn line. So
Oh, nice.
I was like in and out. I'm
Nice.
like,
That's
see
gotta
you
feel so
suckers.
good.
I'm out of here.
Sweet. Such a good feeling.
So this supplanted "The Devil Is Bad" as the show closer.
I
So-
feel like maybe the encore or something was maybe "Devil Is Bad," but I mean,
Okay.
this was a pretty powerful song live. Like
Yeah,
it kind of rocked when we played it live. We played a little bit faster. Everything gets faster and sped up when you're playing live. I feel like
I see Brett over there. He's giddy.
Yeah, that
He's ready
last
to say
trumpet part
something.
was like 6 or 7 trumpets, like layered. And I remember that was the last thing I did in the studio. I packed up my horn and I went down to Mexico and went surfing. And it was awesome that I didn't die, because we paid a guy $15 every day to keep the federales and the banditos away.
Wow.
We just slept on the beach, and every day we'd give this guy $15 American cash. And he'd be like,
and that
federales, no banditos.
and that trumpet line just like sent you off into.
No, it really
That
did. Yeah, it's very fitting that you
amazing
went there
vacation.
right after.
so this part right here, we get really quiet,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the sound guys would like try and turn us up because they couldn't hear it. And then we come back in, and we just like
Just
bam,
blast
and we like
it
flew
out.
out so many systems. We started telling the sound guys, don't turn it down at this part because we're gonna come back and fucking rock it.
Yeah,
And we would hit this so loud.
I get it. You have to. It's kind of obligatory
Yeah.
Right.
with the dynamic range of the song.
Man, and we had our wireless horns, so we were like jumping all over the place in this song.
Nice.
We were crazy in this song.
I love it.
Good song. I don't know.
Yeah, it's rad.
Controversial take from us here at Church Hymns Now. Trouble with X. It's a pretty good record.
Pretty good record.
Not as
know
troubling
about
as I
that.
thought, you know?
Yeah, I'm not troubled.
Well, you know, I have been wondering though, like where I should go after this. Like
After-
how should we
after Tip for
transition
Me.
to the
This guy complained about sequencing, and then he links every song together. Like, come on.
Welcome to Church
Clearly,
Hymns
we knew what we
Now.
were doing.
There is a narrative.
That's very true. All right, let's move on to the next track.
Which way to go, how will I know? I don't think this is the way. No words to use, no one should know just exactly what to say. All I know is I don't want to stay where I'm at today. Where should I go?
This is another one that got written entirely in the studio, I think.
And the rockabilly's back. Like the west, the country
sure.
western kind of dusty rockabilly vibes are like all throughout.
I don't remember having anything to do with this song.
I wrote all the
Really?
lyrics on a plane,
Oh, you did?
Oh, you
Okay.
did?
and then I just handed
Very
them to
cool.
Andrew, and he did whatever with them.
Nice, man. What inspired the lyrics on this one, James?
Oh man, if I can remember back then, I feel like we were on our second album. I felt a little bit lost. You know, like how do we get to
Yeah.
a third album? What is our sound going to be like? All the evolution of that kind of stuff. Dealing with just the business that we never had to deal with before. We just used to play and have
Right.
fun, and now we have to think about things in a business sense. There was just a lot going on, and that's just like business and music. We also had like personal lives that we all had different. I don't know, turmoil is the right word, but you know, tensions and things going on, just like everybody does. So I just on a plane and just kind of like wrote all this, and I was like ripped the paper out. I'm like, here, if you need lyrics, because I feel like we were struggling for songs at that point still too. And I'm like, here, take this
Yeah.
page.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice that it kind of like evokes that idea of like going back home and asking questions. I think is like a great thing to do in the middle of a song and the middle of a record. Like it's nice as like I know it's not the exact midpoint, but it's like in that middle area of the record. And I like whenever you get a little investigative or exploratory and you're like asking more questions rather than answering. Cause I kind of, as a listener, at least I get bored of like just having answers thrown at me over and over again. I'm like, okay, cool. You got all the answers. That's great. But when an artist kind of invites me in or a band invites me in with some questions, and then it makes me think about my own journey. Like, I appreciate that about this one, especially where it lands on the record. So thanks for being on a plane and feeling some existential crisis so that you could write this
There
song,
you go.
James. I appreciate that.
Thanks for being on a plane.
I think it's kind of like it runs
James
through
on a
most of
plane.
the songs, though. Most of the stuff that we did was really just reflective of our lives, whether it was skateboarding
Totally.
or
Right.
Playing video
you know,
games.
playing video games, or
Yeah.
Nazis at the show, whatever. You know,
Yeah, you know that's something I really appreciate, like specifically about this record, but then just like about the W's as a whole. Like you guys, I feel like at this point in your lives when you recorded these records, like you did a really good job of sort of encapsulating a lot of this like early 20s, mid 20s experience that a lot of us have. Like it does feel like, you know, because there's like some nostalgia for like high school. Like there's a little bit of that, but like you don't lean too much into that, with also like a little bit of existential dread and like I don't know, you guys really encapsulated a lot of experiences that I think we've all had in our early to mid 20s of like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, and yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah.
We actually wanted to call the album that.
They didn't like it.
Down.
Good alternate.
Well,
title.
you know, Brett, they may have if you'd used maybe a little more tact. If you'd try to like sell it like a used car salesman.
He's had to sell some used cars. It doesn't matter who you think you are. He's got a line for everyone. He'll treat you like his daughter someday. When don't go with that babe. Too late.
I'm sorry for this next song
Hey, I got vocals on this.
because I wrote this whole song, all of it. And it actually, I wrote it about when my family was trying to buy a used car, and I was just like, these guys are slimy. But then this album comes out, people are like, oh, this is a song about the devil again, isn't it? I was like, oh, crap.
Devil is bad too.
That's exactly what it
metaphor.
sounds like. And I was like, it's not supposed to be a metaphor. It's supposed to be really about buying a car.
Very literal.
Yeah.
Another one of those situations where Brett's like, Val, just lean into it. Just accept
Yeah.
it. Say it's about the devil for crying out loud.
And then there's this long part in the middle, where Brett and I are like, we've got this rant going on. And
I love the rant.
Yes.
I'm a big fan.
Welcome to Hub City Used Honda. Have we got a deal for you? We have got Hondas galore. Like right here's a light blue 83 Accord, 250,000 miles. But them's highway miles. And right here's a 1085 Civic Wagon with 230,000 miles. It's got the nice lift-in look. I've got the good brakes and I've got the bad brakes. And if you don't come see us today, we can't save you any dinero.
So I wanted it to be super witty and funny and hilarious. And it's just Brett and I selling our actual used cars that we actually owned in real life.
So like the mileage and stuff, it was accurate.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
That
I
is
sold that car
excellent.
to Todd Gruner for $1.
I gave my car to my brother.
And did one have good brakes and the other had bad brakes?
Oh, that's
Well,
a fart
bad
joke.
brakes. Yeah. Because if your brakes are bad, they smell. And so that was
Sure.
our
Yeah.
So that was
yeah.
our like inside joke. And then at the very end, it's like, if you don't come see me today, we can't save you any money. Was this catchphrase that this guy up here had in Portland, Tom Peterson, I think was his
Yep.
name. And the lawyer at the label's like, I don't know if you should say that. We might get sued. Change it to De Niro.
Dinero's way better.
Nice.
It's so
it is
better.
better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so when
Got
we
more
get to
personality.
we're getting to the
Okay, here it is.
overdubs. Who's who here?
That's me. That's Brett. This is me.
Okay, so Brett's
If it
doing
sounds like Wesley Willis,
no.
it's
Brett's
not.
doing the Adam Sandler impression. The 32,000 miles.
Yes. Nice, Brett.
Yep.
I'll take that.
A nice lived-in look. That's my favorite part.
It's so good.
Oh, I did live in my car. That was why I said that.
Yes, you
that
did.
lived in look.
And in the beginning, I was like, Hub City Motors, because the city I grew up in, Albany, was called Hub City for some reason. It was one of his nicknames. So I was trying to throw that
Oh,
in
that's
there.
great. Nice, man. See, so
Basically,
it was pretty
we
clever.
wrote songs, but all we did is like open our eyes and look around. And they were like, okay, let's just write that down.
Yeah.
No, I know. That's what I know. That's what I love about all y'all's songs is like it all feels like so specific.
Yeah, it feels slice
I didn't
of
really
life.
have horn lines for that song at first either. And the guys are like, make it like Rocket from the Crypt. So I went and bought a Rocket from the Crypt CD and I listened to it all night long. And the next day I came like, okay, here's the horn lines. And
Sweet.
I don't know if they were direct ripoffs of Rocket from the Crypt horn lines or not, but James is like,
knows?
that's good. That's a good one. We're keeping that. About one of the horn lines. One of the horn lines specifically, I remember he really liked. And I was like proud that I made James say that. So
Yeah, that's always fun. I mean, and look, on a song about a used car salesman where you're making very specific references to your own used cars, I don't think much about that song could be called a ripoff. That is a W's original right there, you guys.
For sure. It reminds me so much. Okay, here it is, guys. If you're playing the CJN drinking game, it reminds me of the Robert Zemeckis movie, Used Cars. Have you guys seen
Oh
that
my
movie?
Have not.
Did it?
I saw Back to the Future.
Yeah,
Jesus
I saw
Christ.
that one
That's
about
Robertson.
cars
It
that he
is-
did.
It is
DeLorean.
wild that you guys wrote this song and have never seen the movie Used Cars.
Well, my family had to try and buy used cars. So that's right.
Universal.
There you go.
Okay.
Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead, Kylan.
No, it's just it's wild. So it's the movie he did before Back to the Future, produced by Steven Spielberg, and it's like one of like Kurt Russell's like first leading roles, and it's about a bunch of
Nice.
like sleazy used car salesmen, and that is it invokes the vibe of that movie so much, and it is insane to me that I said the name of that movie and all three of y'all were just like, nope. I literally saw head shakes. So I'm gonna shut up now, and you can check me out on my new podcast, Movie Jams Now.
Hey, Kylan, don't worry. We're still going to take you as you are, buddy.
Oh really? Oh really?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's something or nothing. I don't know how to feel about that.
Take me as I am. I feel the walls around me and I'm weak. Help me now, help me in this world. This world kills me slowly. Take me as I am. Clear the mess inside of me so I can see again. Help me in this world. This world's killing me. Please don't let me be. Take me as I am.
Val, is that you right here in the intro?
Yeah, that's me
Yeah.
and clarinet. Yeah.
Because the working
Like
title
I
of
said,
this
Andrew and I
was-
wrote this. We would just play this in the dressing rooms. I'd play my clarinet and he would play the guitar, and we had a whole thing.
Nice.
And then Bret came in and added his trumpet. And there's sax on it too, isn't there? It's not just clarinet. You guys played some stuff.
Did we ever play this one live?
No.
No.
I never played my clarinet live, so
I remember walking by you guys in the dressing room and going like, "What are you doing? That's never going to make it on the album. What are you doing here?"
I vaguely remember that, yeah.
This
We're messing
song,
around with that.
this song does make me want to like sneak around on my tiptoes.
Yeah. Again, with the Pink Panther. Like,
Yeah,
very,
for sure.
very sneaky until he kicks up a notch.
Mm-hmm.
But you're dancing
These
on that
lyrics are so
clarinet.
dark.
Yeah, they are.
I didn't remember
Definitely
these
the
lyrics.
sad boy song.
Listening to it, I was like, "Dang, man, Andrew was depressed."
He's feeling something.
How did none
I mean,
of us
we
see
all
it?
were. So.
That's
there's
Dennis. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. That's fun.
He's got a little like mute going on with the trombone too. Nice.
Probably.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That plunger.
I was in Mexico. I don't know.
Brett was
avoiding
dodging the federales.
Yeah. Narrowly.
Yeah, I love this song at this point in the record. Like it,
A good breather. Kind of like
yeah,
takes things down a notch.
it does make me want to walk down a spooky hallway in the best way.
Tiptoe down it though. Yeah, tiptoe.
I was told by somebody who shall not be named that if you buy a W's record, you want to get a fun album with fun songs, and this is not.
Oh.
I think you should name them, Val.
Yeah, come on.
I was told not to throw
Oh,
anybody under the
them
bus
out.
on this episode.
Oh, there
By
you go.
who? By who? Not by us. That's not in our literature, is it, Josh?
Nope, that's not in our artist stock.
We're
I
all
made an
about
agreement with
clearing the
someone
air.
that I live with that shall
Made
not be
some
named.
promises.
Okay.
Fair enough.
It was Toby Mac. I get it. All right.
Whoa, you guys are roommates? That's crazy.
Yeah. Yep. He and I talked a lot about sci-fi books on the DC Talk tour.
Oh, nice. That's
Of all
cool.
Toby's the
things.
sci-fi guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
He liked at that time he was reading sci-fi books, and I would talk about some of the comic books I'd read, and he'd be like, "That's cool." And I got along with Toby Mac of all the DC Talk guys. I got along with him pretty well.
Seems like a cool guy.
Toby's a homie.
Toby's homie. All right. Well, now that we've got the, it feels like we.
I think
it feels
Val
like we
should
took
teach.
an intro class. Sorry, Josh. I think we're making the
We're
same
going the
joke.
same. We're going the same place. DC Talk 101
Yes,
with
DC
Val
Talk
Hellman.
101.
with Valentino.
Decent Christian tea.
Oh my God. Let's move on to the next track. Hold on.
A 101. I gotta say this is not much fun. I used to think that I was wrong. Found out I was right all along.
This is one that Todd wrote in the studio. Like
I
he
love
wrote
the intro.
the guitar and bass parts. Yeah.
It feels like a cake song or something.
I feel like Bret and I came up with a lot of the horn lines, and part of it was Saki, and then the lyrics, a lot of them were me. But Andrew really wanted this that 3:15 takeout on Back to My... That part was Andrew.
That's so hooky.
He really loved that
Yeah,
part and had
it
to
is
keep
really
it in.
hooky.
But then, yeah, I was like, we need to write a song about studying.
I like to imagine this is the character from Alarm Clock having a below average day.
That I love that. And
that
forever,
is
that's going to be
impeccable headcanon right
That's
there.
excellent, Josh. I like that a lot. Oh man.
I think on this one it's funny because you can really tell that Andrew didn't like the lyrics and the verses.
Yeah.
Like just in the
He just
recording
didn't try
alone,
that
he's
hard.
like he's just. And I remember looking in the studio when he was recording. He was just like reading them off like this, kind of like, "What am I don't care about this."
As he's tracking it, he's already over it.
Yeah, and he'd look over at Val and be like, is that how you wanted it to sound?" Like,
Yeah.
I guess.
A lot of confidence.
And Todd was gone at this point. Like he left like Bret and didn't come back. So
He did his
I think it was
bass part
just
and he
James,
was
Andrew,
out.
and I
Yeah.
in the studio writing lyrics and finishing the record.
Wow.
'Cause I remember Todd coming back to me like, "What? You guys referenced the Beanery in one of the songs? That's awesome." It was this coffee place in Corvallis that we'd always go to. You're like, "Yeah, if you'd been
Sweet.
there, you would have known.
Could have been a part of it.
You could have been a part of this." But
Oh man, he sounds like such a chump.
I think we've established that someone else.
We know who.
Who is the chump?
I want to get the 101 on who the chump is.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's nice.
I'm not gonna wait for you anymore. No, I'm not gonna wait for you anymore. No, I'm not gonna wait for you anymore. No.
I really wanted to write everything on this song, and Saki was like, "No, you got to have this horn line do this part that Brett's playing," and I was just like, "Damn it, that is so good." I can't really good. But I wrote a lot of the rest of it, and I love that the song is about Bret, and then Brett's just playing this little happy trumpet line in it.
Like he
"Oh,
doesn't
yeah, I'm
even
gonna be
know
late all the
it's about
time.
me."
I'm a fucking idiot. I'm gonna be late all the time."
Hey, I'm a happy idiot. I'm waving at cars. That's a TV on the radio reference.
Ooh, that is a TV on the radio reference. Thank you, Brett. I see you.
Did
That was great.
Did Saki know that he ripped the horn line off from No Effects?
I don't know. He might have
Oh,
done that.
shoot.
Do you know what song it is?
I ripped off some of the lyrics from Green Day, so
I heard that one. Yeah.
It's a whole ripoff. Wow.
yeah.
Just make it your own.
I was
It's
trying
fine.
to write a song like Stewart in the Avenue is a Green Day song that I loved, and I was trying to write a song kind of like that with this. And of course,
Right.
like anything I do, I try to write it sound like something, and it comes out sounding like something else. But
Right.
Sure. Yeah.
there's the reference to the Beanery.
There it is.
That's
Nice.
great.
Well, Val,
Yeah, no,
I'm happy to mention that this is my favorite song that you
Mine too.
wrote. Hey,
Nice.
mine too.
I'll take
thanks.
And Brett, you inspired too.
In your
this would
honor,
not be
Brett.
possible without
that. We
you.
all know this jerk.
We would all call being late being Brett. Because Brett
I'll
was
be
always
real.
the last one to get to everything.
In my notes, I had, who is this song about? And I had no clue it was going to be one of y'all. And I love, I
Well, this
love
part of the song,
that
we're
it
talking about
is.
being on stage, ready to go, and
Right. Well, that's the thing is I
I
was
don't
like,
think
it
Brett
might
was
be
ever
one
late
of
for
them.
a show. He
Well,
was never
I-
late for a show, but
I was late for a
practice
show.
like an hour or two.
I don't think I
Oh,
don't even
was
think I
there
showed
one?
up to one show. Yeah, in Yorba Linda in California, it was crazy. I remember everyone was really
Really?
mad.
Oh, wow.
I must have been so mad I forgot about it.
Yeah,
So it's so traumatizing. I blocked it
Yeah.
from memory.
it was traumatizing to me because I'm like, oh, they can do this without me. I should be watching my step here.
So one thing I love about this song is I think it's Josh and I's favorite songs for the exact same reason that Val wrote it, and it's about Brett. Like I think I'm the Brett of this
I
podcast.
knew I liked you, Caitlin.
and Josh is the Val. I think Josh is like, oh yeah, this Kylan guy, like always late.
He's a
Who
chump.
knows? And I'm just like, I'm having a good time. I love this song.
Last year when we did the podcast, I was like ready to go in the Zoom waiting room, and Josh is like, Kylan's going to be late. I'm sorry. I was like, it's just like band practice in the old days.
Yep.
You remember
Nope.
that, Josh?
He was moving, to
Living
be
up
fair.
to the
You know,
stereotype.
I was.
I will give you
I
that.
He was
But-
moving, yeah.
But
Yeah.
it tracks. I'm not moving now, and I'm still really late on stuff. So
That's okay. I forgive
Yeah.
Bret now. I still want to be your
Yeah.
friend.
Ah, thank you, Val.
Yeah.
I want to be your friend too.
I remember there was these kids that were fans of ours. We called them the Hoosiers because they're from Indiana, and they're like, "What? Who's this song about?" And I was like, "It's about Bret." And they're like, "But the last line of the song is I don't want to be your friend anymore."
So
and
dark.
Bret and I are standing there, and I'm just like, "Yeah, I don't want to be his friend anymore."
Oh,
And Bret would just be like, "Yeah, we're not friends."
Just bandmates.
They were probably
we would do
so
that to kids all
sad
the
for
time.
y'all. They probably went
I think-
home.
They knew us
just
pretty
like-
well, and they realized we were joking. But I just like telling people the song was about Bret. And they'd be like, "What about the last line?"
That's how it goes sometimes.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
true.
I mean,
Gotta cut some
listen,
ties.
Kylan and I, our friendship breaks up like every other episode.
No,
Every
it's,
Top
no,
10
it's,
episode.
now.
it's every Bop 10 episode. It's
Yeah.
only the Bop 10 episodes
Mm-hmm.
where
Because you try to
True.
break things, TJ.
exactly.
You try to break
Thank
things.
It's true.
Thank
I love
you.
breaking things. It's a lot of
Every
fun.
time I listen to one of those Bop 10s and you try and break it, I'm right along with Kylan. I'm getting pissed off. I'd be driving down to Corvallis listening to that, and I'd be like, "Damn it, TJ, not again."
Stop breaking stuff, man. Set it down.
It's so good.
Well,
Yeah, it's just fun.
all right. Guys, I think it comes down to this, right?
Yeah, we're almost done, right? It's only going to be like how much longer, right?
Like
Another couple weeks, I think.
another couple weeks of
Cool.
recording.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mhm.
I can handle it.
Yep.
You guys are locked in.
Whoa, 2 more weeks to go. 2 more weeks to go. Then we get to go home.
This might be my second favorite. We wrote a lot of this in the studio.
So this is my favorite song.
Ooh, man. Side B-boys.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, baby.
Bret and I did this horn line right here. Remember, Andrew
Ooh.
wrote like the whole song and then had a vocal part he wanted, and I helped with a lot of the lyrics. Bret and I did this part, this horn part, and then in the chorus, there's that other part. I remember James and Andrew coming to Bret and I being like, "This is the chorus horn part," and they thought Bret and I were going to be mad. Bret and I were like, "This is awesome."
Great. Yeah.
Do you know what
That's
the
awesome.
ba-da-da,
Oh
ba-da-da.
yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome.
No, that part rules. It's so hooky.
I think, yeah, Andrew and James were worried we weren't going to like it, though, when they came to us with it. So,
It's so just like flabby and has some swagger. That's why it's my favorite song. Is again, it has like that upbeat like punk ska verse, and then the like halftime breakdown chorus.
And it
I
mixes
love
with
that
like the
stuff.
vocals going in and out so well too.
Yes.
this was Leonore's favorite song by us.
Oh, that tracks. I
She
can see
told
her
us.
getting down to this. It's also like so meta. I love a good song by a band about being in a band. That is
Yeah.
like that's some of my like if you were gonna make a checklist of like some of TJ's favorite lyrical content, it's if it's like meta and about being an artist or about being in a band, while not being like overly navel gazy or overly indulgent, and this isn't. It's just straight up. 2 chords and a catchy phrase have paved our way. The fat's still going strong. Claustrophobia setting in. The spaces seem so small. Like that's it's you're just being real at that point. You
that
know?
verse was
So,
Andrew, the claustrophobia one. That was all
Nice.
Andrew. I was the floor of the bed. The floor of the van is my bed part. I had those lyrics like in a
I love
notebook,
that.
and I'm like, I've got the perfect lyrics for this song, Andrew.
That's a great.
He was like,
lyric.
okay.
We're gonna really place you in the van. Is the 2 chords and a catchy phrase a devil is bad reference?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, had to be
The
right.
song's only 2 chords.
and still
And a catchy
magic.
phrase.
And a catchy
Yeah.
phrase.
You are the devil, and the devil is bad.
Yeah. No, it's a perfect way to end. I mean, a lot of bands I
Yeah.
feel like end with like tour songs, but I like that this is like a tour. Like, no, we're going out on tour now. We finished the record. It's like we're coming back on tour.
Right.
And I
Right.
did like on the first song, the last line of it on "Rather Be Dead." He says, "My bags are all unpacked, and I'm yours, all yours now," which I feel like gives some nice context to why he wants to
Yeah.
come home. You know,
Buttoning things up a little bit
it's
here.
a good bookend.
Yeah.
I honestly think that was Masaki's least favorite song, and that's why it ended up at the end of the album.
Yeah.
Really?
I remember when we were recording it in the studio, he was just sort of looking at his computer. He's like, "Yeah, go ahead, do whatever you want." He was just like, did not care for once in his life. He's like, "I'm not looking at the board. You guys just do whatever."
Oh man,
That's a wild.
Well, and it does have some like kind of scrappy garage vibes to it, and I think that's another reason I like it is because it endears it to me a little bit. Like I'm just really taken with the band on the road, that's just like trying to make it back home. I love that. I share the sentiment. It's a great way to close a record.
It is. It's a lot of fun.
Thanks.
Controversial take. This is a good record.
Yeah. Hot
Val?
take, but it's a good record.
I thought there was a lot of complicated horn lines that were overly complicated in my mind. Like, once again, I like simple, poppy, catchy, keep it stupid simple, keep it simple, stupid, whatever, and so some of the horn lines were just like, I think I taught myself to like them at the time.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I like the first album better.
No,
He's holding true.
I like a lot of the songs
that's
on this
valid.
record.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, some of them I could do without.
Val inadvertently answered my question I want to ask to the other two guys, because we usually end our episodes with asking whether an album is a flop or a bop, but I'm much more curious how you guys feel about this record now, 25 years after the fact. Like where does this fall for you now?
Yeah, and what's the retrospective feeling?
I'm proud of it. I'm very proud of this record. I think that, we went into the studio a little prematurely and it didn't kind of work out. And so we had to take a little time to go back and write and do it, and kind of came together and put together an album under kind of some trying circumstances. And I enjoy it. I think, honestly, Val, James, and I think this is the best we sounded. I like how we sound on this album better than the first one. And I don't know, I know that there were some trying moments when we were recording it, but I have nothing but fond memories of this record. It has aged well for me.
Excellent.
James, what about you?
Well, I'll tell you, before the podcast, I was not too sure that I liked this album at all. Re-listening closer to the horn lines, I agree with Bret a lot. I'm proud of what we did. I know it took a lot of work at the last minute, so it's cool to hear it. And then, so today, Val sent us most of us, some tracks from what was going to be our third album. And in context, it makes total sense. This is like a perfect bridge stylistically from where we were in the first album to where we would have been. So I think listening to all of that together today really made me feel like, it makes sense now, the progression of it, So
Nice.
That's something. There you go.
Awesome.
I guess it comes down to, when's the third record coming?
Yeah.
It sounded like it was already done to me, so I don't know.
I've been cleaning out stuff in my mom's house, and I found a whole bunch of old W stuff, and there was pre-production for this album, like the rough mixes for this album, and a CD with like 13 tracks. I think 12 of them were actually songs that were going to be for the third album, that I ripped and shared with James, Bret, and Todd, and Josh.
And me.
Guys, wait, what the fuck, man?
Josh is a super fan.
The real secret comes out. I thought I was
When
pretty
I can share it with you guys.
Hold
I can
on,
share it with you guys
hold
too.
on, Val, you and I co-host another podcast together.
not
and
a-
we talk regularly. And you did
Not
not
after
think to
this.
share this with me? Yeah, no.
Josh is a super fan. I knew he would really want to hear it. He had already been asking me about, I heard you guys like had a bunch of songs written for the third album. Like, he asked me that a while ago, and I was like, yeah, we had a bunch written, and then I found them, and I was like, oh.
And look,
No, I'm
maybe
so mad at
Kylan,
both
maybe
of
you
y'all.
just shouldn't ever be late for podcasts again, right? Don't be late to the stage.
Don't be a
Don't
chump,
be late to the
Kylan.
podcast. and you
I
might get the
guess
secret
I'm a
folder.
chump. Yeah, I guess I'm a chump. All right. Oh man.
I'm sorry, Kylan. Are we still friends?
I don't
Or
know.
do you not want to
We'll
be my
see.
friend anymore?
We'll see. We'll see on Thursday.
Yeah. What do you think of this,
Okay.
Val? It's interesting, isn't it, to be on the other end of it like that?
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, you're right. Wasn't trying to
Wow.
break things.
Wow.
Yeah.
But it's
Yep.
so easy to break things with me.
Well, I'm right there with you. That's what mental illness does to you.
Amen. Amen, brother.
At least we got good music.
But guys, this is why like Bandcamp exists. Like, just
True.
put it out.
True.
They're not really finished. There's a lot of like ba-doo-ba-doo-ba-dee-ba-dee-ba-bow
Well, scattered.
kind of stuff in it.
actual scatting.
Yeah. Well, he
Okay.
didn't have lyrics for a lot of it, and so
Cool.
I don't think there's a single song on that had a full set of lyrics.
No, some of them had 0 lyrics too. So it's kind of like
And there was
Fair
no
enough.
sax. It was just Bret trumpet on a few tracks.
A lot of
Yeah.
solo trumpet. And do you remember we sent it down? Was it to Singing Serpent? Because we were thinking about having them record
yeah,
our
we were
third
going to
record.
record with Glenn from Soul
oh, that's
Junk.
right.
Yeah. And do you remember what the owner said when he listened to it? He said, "Hey, don't worry.
No.
We have a trumpet player down here who can record in the studio for you."
Oh no!
Talking about the
No.
recording.
Fuck that
From
guy.
Rocket from the Crypt.
Fuck that guy.
Fuck, I know. I would. Hey,
Oh,
no, that's way. He's
man.
way better than me. It would be great.
And then Bret was like, "You know what? I'm going to quit the band.
You know what? I'm just
And
gonna
that's
join the
not-
Supertones.
And that's not a fake story.
I'll show
That's
you.
not a
Bret
fake
said he
story.
was. Bret decided he was going to quit the band after we recorded the album.
Yeah.
And then I thought about
my
it for a little bit,
gosh.
and I was like, "Well, if Bret's not in the band, I don't want to be in the band anymore." And so then I said I was going to quit, and then everything just fell apart.
Why?
And then it fell apart.
Yeah.
I'm
And Todd
sorry.
was like,
Oh my
I don't
God.
want to be in the band either. And then
I was the impetus. I apologize for that.
I will say that is the
Oh,
trouble with
man.
X.
Turns out I was a chump and X.
Oh man, oh man. Okay, so I think it's safe to say the 3 CJN guys, we love this record, right?
Oh yeah,
2
Thumbs up.
definitely.
2.
Thumbs
Dose.
up.
Thumbs up.
All bops from us.
All
I was
Bob's,
not
baby.
expecting that
Really?
Yeah.
because so many people hated this record.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Mainly our label.
Because it didn't sound like our first record, which is why I didn't like it.
Yeah, even you.
Fair.
I'm an asshole. Yeah.
That's
To me, okay, not having heard any of the potential third album tracks because I'm just a secondary character in all of this. I could tell this is like a band in transition. And, you know, from all the stories and everything, like I could tell you guys were on a track of like, you know, you were getting just a lot tighter as a band, right? Like you were
Yeah.
figuring a bunch of stuff out and then maybe potentially like rushed into the studio for some of these songs. But I could definitely tell that there was like potential for like this band to evolve into something else. I'm a little bit upset that we never got to hear that, right? So it's a full bop for me. I don't know about the other guys. If y'all want to
Oh yeah.
blow smoke
No,
up
I-
these
I-
guys' asses.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say,
Under their
like
horns.
I mentioned on the track earlier, like I never knew I wanted the W's to lean into like the Western rockabilly thing as much as you did on this
Right.
record, and I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
so glad that you did. It was a blast. So that's what I found really engaging and charming about this record specifically, was a lot of that kind of flavor on it. So yeah, it ruled. And the John Denver cover alone, I'm just like, that's so cool that exists. It's
Yeah.
y'all went all over the place on this record, and yeah, it shows that you put a lot of hours in and a lot of work into the horn parts, and just really showed up in full on this one. So yeah, bop from me for sure.
Awesome. Okay,
Thank
so Josh, I need you to now defend to these 3 gentlemen why you texted me privately saying you hated this record so much.
Man, can we
Yeah, what was up
cancel?
with that, man?
I don't want to
Alan
talk
told
about
me.
this anymore. You know, let's just tell them we're all sick or something. Yeah. I mean, I grew up listening to the first record. I didn't know that y'all had even a second record until like 2009 or something. I was like, oh, there's a second W's record. It's like cool.
A lot of people didn't know.
Yeah, no, I had no idea. So like the first one has so much nostalgia to it, and it has a great sound. But I do love that y'all didn't like. I feel like it could have been easy to try to capitalize on the devil of is bad of it all, and like the sound that kind of y'all had, but this one y'all branched out on, and y'all were going places, and you were integrating like that New Orleans sound and the rockabilly in there. I think the rockabilly is in there a little bit on the first record, but it definitely takes a lot more center stage on this one. So it is cool just getting, and y'all were willing to try new things. Like I loved the bowling aesthetic, but then I was like, y'all switched it up. You're like, hey, we're going to be in this West Coast squadron now. So it's like, it would have been easy to be like, oh, we're the bowling guys, that's our thing kind of deal. But you're just like, hey, we're down to try some new things. We're going to have some fun. So it's got a lot of fun songs that have a lot of variety, which I think showcases just as musicians what y'all were capable of doing and where y'all wanted to go and what you were into. So it's really fun.
Yeah.
Good record.
So I want to open it up to the three of y'all. What do you think about this record? I mean, we know Val hates it. He is obviously.
I don't hate it.
Well,
like I said,
hold
listening
on.
back to it, I thought we did a really good job. Yeah, we worked really hard and we did a really good job and we sound really good. It's not as much fun for me as the first record is. So.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's fair.
Yeah, and it is different, like how things feel versus how they sound, right? Like there's an emotional resonance that you guys have around this album that no one could ever have. And we can like it sonically and also emotionally for how it hits us as listeners, but you can also have entirely valid feelings about the process of tracking it and what that felt like. So that makes a lot of sense, Val.
Maybe if my wife had been around at night instead of being in Africa, when I
There
came
you
back
go.
with
Yeah,
tracking
change
horns,
your
I would have felt
experience,
better.
yeah.
The whole
It's
process.
all
would have made the
Heather's fault.
difference.
Not
Yep.
her fault. It's just, she wasn't there. She's gonna get so pissed at me. For
No, I
saying
know,
that.
I know.
I'm
No.
Kylan in the
Hey,
tournament on that.
I will fully take the brunt of that. She already doesn't like that I don't like Radiohead, so
yeah.
I can accept.
No, not Radiohead.
No,
Vampire Weekend.
Vampire Weekend. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, it's fine, Colin. You're wrong.
I know.
You've been wrong
I know, it's
before. You'll be wrong again.
All right, James and Brett, I want to hear from y'all.
Well, as a little bit of justification, and I don't know if these are false numbers that I'm getting on Spotify, but I believe Rather Be Dead is our leading listened to song by a lot.
Hey,
Cool.
and these are relatively
That's fun.
new numbers, right? Because Val,
Oh yeah.
you just got this up recently, right? Let's talk
Yeah,
about
yeah.
that.
I worked with James and Brett. Brett got the fourth and the last tracks remastered by Saki. James came up with the artwork, and and I did the research and got a DistroKid account, and we put everything together, and I put it up. Yeah,
Sweet.
because people keep asking me, "Where's
Yeah,
this music?"
Dude, I've
That's
seen
right.
a lot
Tons
of
of people.
conversations online. People asking, why is this not available for streaming?
Well, it is now.
It
so.
is. And you put in a lot of work
Yeah.
to get it to
You
that
did
point.
it, man.
Y'all
Good
did
job.
it.
Val, can you do some real time research and see if I'm lying about this? Rather Be Dead, I believe, has like 4
Let me
times
just pull up my
as many.
Spotify for Artist app. And,
If I may, because I looked at it whenever y'all just put them up, and I think because they were on streaming at some point in the past before, so I think whatever the new ones went up, they matched up with whatever was previously up there. So I think it's like the old numbers with the new numbers combined. So the fourth from the last ones are all new streams because those didn't match up; those didn't have any numbers. But the Trouble with X ones are, I'm assuming, some of the old with the new.
Devil is Bad is the top one with 4,146 streams.
Okay. And
then it goes through all the fourth and the last songs, and the 5 Iron Frenzy track is actually ahead of Dexter.
What?
So at 664 listens, and Dexter's at 605, and then Rather Be Dead is 586 listens. Oh, and then Hooey, and then Jason E, and then
it's telling me Rather Be Dead has 16,320.
Yeah, those
That's not
show.
right.
That's what I'm thinking is the old ones with the new ones.
Oh yeah, probably the old ones
Yeah.
too. Let me take off.
Combination. Yeah.
Ooh, I hope
That's
this
on
numbers.
Spotify.
I hope this numbers part makes the podcast.
Oh, it will.
Oh, we love numbers.
Oh, it will.
By we, I mean me.
Josh and I love data.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
We haven't even bonded over that yet. Our love of
No,
data.
not yet. But we soon will.
Mostly Lego.
Mostly Lego, yeah.
What are you taking a picture of, Brett?
Yeah, wait, Brad, what are you doing?
No, I believe you. Yeah.
Rather be dead is just being awesome over on Spotify.
It probably is the old tracks. On the Apple for Artists, whatever it is, I can see the old tracks mixed with the new tracks, but it doesn't show me that for Spotify. So
Yeah, on Spotify, it
I don't know
does
why.
have the old listens in there as well.
but I mean, if I look at the Spotify for Artists app, it only shows me the Y the apostrophe listens. So, which was going to be the name of our third album, was going to be Y the apostrophe, which is why we went with it for the re-release of everything.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah,
Nice.
in keeping with the WXYZ theme.
Yep. So clever.
Right.
We were racking our brains for what the fourth album's going to be called. We got a little ahead of ourselves there. Maybe that's why we broke up.
A little too ahead of yourselves.
But you can't help but scheme a little bit and dream,
Right.
you know?
Okay, so let's take this opportunity to talk about anything you guys may want to plug. And I swear to God, Val, if you don't talk about In Defense of Kesha,
I was just going to say,
I'm going to leave this call right now.
I happen to have
a
a
layup.
podcast with Kyle and Savage because we both have an unironic love of Kesha. We both love her music. We think she's a great artist, and when we say that to people, they're like, "No, you don't," and they don't believe us. So we have a whole podcast where we're defending
a whole
that.
podcast.
Just to prove it.
So far, Josh and TJ have been on,
Yep.
where we tried to
true.
win them over with a Kesha song we picked for them, and Eric McClanahan of
Yep.
CCM Twitter, and we're gonna have Heather on. Although Heather's a Kesha fan, so we're just gonna talk
That's
about our
true.
top 10 list with Heather. So yeah,
Are Brett and James
trying to get my
Kesha
friend
fans
Rich.
on?
I don't know. You guys want to be on the podcast?
We on the
Yeah,
podcast.
come on. You want to be on our other podcast?
Hey,
I'll text you guys the questionnaire.
I've got a good Kesha deep cut that she wrote with Busby.
Okay.
Mike Busby.
Yeah.
Ooh.
All right, let's
Do
do
you guys
it.
know who Mike Busby is?
No.
Mm-mm.
He wrote a lot with Justin McRoberts, right?
Oh, okay.
Or he recorded a
okay.
lot.
Yep.
And he ended up being like a songwriter.
Hmm.
Brett probably knows more about him than I do.
I do. Unfortunately, he has passed and he had a brain tumor. And when he passed, Spotify made a list of his songs. And he was a great, brilliant songwriter and super nice guy.
Wow.
But anyway, there's that song is on the YouTube, but not on the Spotify if you want to look that one up.
Ooh, Okay.
Which song is it?
I don't know. It's called something with Busby.
Val, save it for our other podcast.
Okay, sorry.
Great plug,
Yeah.
though. Good job.
Yeah,
You did
Yeah.
fully
I'll
integrated.
bother both of you guys more about
Yeah.
being on the podcast after this.
James and Brett, do you want people to find you online? This is a valid question.
It is a valid question. I mean, I am online, but I don't do a lot online. So
Okay.
I check my social media like once a week, probably as often as I check my email. So I'm around, I guess,
Okay.
under Brett Barker.
Just don't email Brett and re-spark that addiction.
Yeah,
That
no,
would be
no,
real
no,
bad.
We
Careful.
cannot
I did a
see
lot of
email
work,
addiction
man.
Again.
Let's not undo what he's
Get
done.
over it.
James, what about you, man? And hey, you know what? Beyond just like online stuff, like what are you guys up to now? If you want,
I'm unemployed and I moved back in with my mother.
Hey, it's all valid, man.
I don't know if I can top that one.
guys,
Pretty good.
Everything post COVID is just like it's all made up. Everything's made
No
up.
rules.
We don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, true. Okay. Well, so I work for WebMD. It's like a medical website. I've doing that for about 15 years now. And I just moved to Nashville about 2 months ago. So from San Diego. Say that a couple times and people look at you weird no matter where you go. Trust me. So
Why
yeah,
would
it's
you
nice to
leave
be
San
back here.
Diego?
It's exactly. I see it in their eyes every day. Where are you from? San Diego. They're like, what's wrong with you? I don't want to be your friend. So,
You're confused, friend.
You're a
I am.
chump.
I'm a little confused, but hey, you know what? It does feel a little bit like home. I know it's been like 20 years since I've spent any time here, but it's pretty cool to see how much has grown. I know people here hate that, but
Yeah.
you know,
Do you live in that
Yeah.
in that suburb we would always stay at when we were on
yes,
tour?
I do. Yeah.
Seriously, you lived to that? What was that suburb called?
Well, there's two that are right next to each other, Brentwood and Franklin.
Oh
They're
yeah,
just
Franklin.
south of Nashwood. Yeah, that's where I live in Franklin.
Man, yeah, that was like home. We'd stay at the same hotel there every time, go to the same mall, go to the same
Eat
grocery
it.
store.
Eat at Macaroni Grill over and over.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good times.
Classic.
Love it.
Yeah, and so on the side, I've always been doing art still, painting and things like that. So if anybody wants to look me up on Twitter, you can't because I'm not there. But Instagram, camp_host if you want to check some stuff out.
Sweet. I love it.
Absolutely. That's
I
awesome.
have an Instagram for my dogs.
Ooh.
Maisie and Maui. Maisie_and_Maui. She's a
Yeah.
French bulldog with no eyes.
I know. My wife
on.
is obsessed with your dogs.
Wow.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yes.
Awesome.
So for listeners here, if you enjoy this, we have more nonsense like it at our Patreon at patreon.com/churchnamesnowpodcast. And of course, from all of us here at the Church Names Now crew, may all your favorite bands stay together, and peace out, motherfuckers.
Church Jams now.
Stay off the email.
Dude, I heard you got the good email. I heard that email straight to my veins.